Some randev is first to the stream.
Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. How's everyone doing on this fine Sunday? Unless, of course, you're on like the other side of the world. And how you doing on this fine Monday? Hopefully, everyone is doing great. Hopefully, everyone had an absolutely fantastic weekend. Some randev. Get back to your stream. That is a good time. I do appreciate that. So thank you for that. Also, welcome everyone. Welcome. Glad you're here. Sealuk, I am so sorry. I was kind of not expecting some randev to be first, given the fact that they are streaming right now. But oh well. Still's gonna happen, I suppose. Scoiled. Hello, welcome. Glad you're here. And Cameron says, by switching stream. I was literally watching their stream. Well, there we go. I suppose first is just that important. And I would agree. Well, really quick note, if you notice the chicken's doing anything weird, let me know. I adjusted their Y position on the screen so they can kind of move back and forth, kind of make it look like they're kind of moving further and closer to the stream.
Never heard of her? Also, you already saw my art, but I have more, I guess, perhaps later. Also, I need to start learning Ratachi.
You absolutely should start learning Ratachi. I was going to call that Ratatouille. That Ratatouille? Yes, absolutely. So I did see your art. I literally just barely went through. I looked at everything earlier and I never reacted to it. And so now I've actually gone through and reacted to everything that people posted over the past 2 days? Couple days? Basically since the last stream. Finally got caught up on everything. And then I assumed you would have more later. So I will be very much so awaiting the new art you post. So anyway, yeah, so good times. Anyway, my OBS did not freak out this time, so there we go. Heading off early. Good luck on Tomb of Vercilias, Scoiled. I do appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Hopefully you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you hopefully in the Tuesday stream. I hope. But anyway, yeah, so OBS is working, so we can stream tonight, which is absolutely fantastic. Rust Tui. How about now? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Feel free to post it now. Rust Tui. I don't know what Rust Tui is. I also don't know what Ratatouille is either. So, but I don't know what is it Rust UI? Is that what it is? Rust UI? I don't know. I feel like I may need a little bit more of an explainer right there. It's terminal user interface. Okay, that would make more sense. Yeah. Okay, so it's Rust TUI. So that wasn't a typo. It was Rust TUI. Gotcha. Work in progress. Ooh. Good pull up. There we go. All right. Liking it. Loving the hair. I really like the angle that they're sitting at. I like the sideways. For some reason I really like the work in progress because it's like I can sit here and like in my own head kind of like auto complete what is going on here. And so I'm like imagining they're sitting on top of like a bus. I don't know what this person would be standing on if they're sitting on the top of a bus, but you know, that's the great thing about an imagination. It just kind of runs wild and you do what you do, and it's good times for all. Anyway, well, yes, I'm glad you're all here. And Dazu, hello, welcome, glad you're here. Let's see, Faye, characters from my comic. Oh, very nice. Oh my gosh, again, and I know that I do this every single time. The background is just so alluring to me. It just, again, kind of like with the work in progress here, where it's just like my mind kind of like starts filling things in. I don't know why, like with this background especially, like I start filling in like, what could this possibly be? Like, is this a sky back here and this is being blocked by a building, a mountain? Who knows? But the dramatic lighting is very cool. I really like that dramatic lighting. You got just like the one focus light that's like behind, but then like also from like coming from like this angle right here, just kind of shining down. I like it. Beautiful stuff. Love the beard there too. Beard looks absolutely fantastic. Ooh. Love his gap. Love the gap in the jawline there. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Thank you for posting. I appreciate that. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, forgot to add reactions. I know I reacted live, but I gotta add the reactions too. Gotta add them. Gotta add them. No, she's hanging on to the bus. Ah, see, there we go. There we go. Yeah, she's hanging on to the bus. So she's hanging on, and she's sitting there. I like it. I like it. 2 thumbs up. Okay, so if for anybody who was here on the last stream, we were working on getting procedural generation working in Tomb of Vercilias, and it was coming along. It was coming along. You know, it wasn't anything too crazy, but I tried to get some work done off stream, and I was kind of making some progress a little bit. And I basically had to go in and delete it all because I was like, it just was not working correctly. So if you remember from last time, we were trying to get it to the point where, because all right, really quick, I'll back up really quick for anyone who was not here on the Thursday stream. So as of right now, Tomb of Vercilias has a random tomb generation. So whenever you enter a new floor, it randomly generates a new layout. LOL, Sir going crazy. What? What's Sir doing? Now I actually need to. I know I shouldn't. But I want to see. All right, sir. What's going crazy? Wait. Are you going crazy because of the issues with the procedural generation? Hold up. I have to see what you're going on about. Oh, Moon was on. Lol. No. Don't move. Don't leave. Don't leave. Stay with some Randev. Stay. Wait, what happens if I knock? Did I knock? I kind of want to knock and see what happens. Ask to join the stream anytime. You're being watched. I'm gonna knock and see what happens. I don't know what it means. Stream together only supports Chrome and Firefox for now. Oh, man. Yes, you said weird things. I need to cancel the call. Cancel. Yes, cancel. All right. We'll leave you alone. Here, hold up. I'm gonna mute. I know this is what. Okay, so wait. So what if I click accept? What happens? All right.
What? Sorry, I cussed again on Moonstream. Oh,
yeah, geez,
no.
the cussing.
Okay. But what? That's really, what?
So if I accept though, because also apparently some Randev
I'm using Opera right now.
is having the same issue. So if I click accept.
So what is what?
I don't know what happens.
Oh, this is so unfair. I guess I have to switch my streaming browser to Chrome.
It gave me the
Google
same
Chrome?
error.
I'm gonna click it again. Sorry, Moon. I'm clicking it again.
What if we accept?
I
don't know what's gonna happen, everybody.
Firefox. So you literally have to download Google Chrome to use this.
Freaking Google Chrome.
Okay. All right, sorry, I'm not reading chat. I don't know. It gave me the same error. Yeah, and you have to leave me alone. In fact, stay. How's it going, Moon's chat? What's everyone up to?
Yeah, how's everybody doing over here?
Follow me for more game dev.
Download Vivaldi. Oh, that's
I'm in Godot.
True.
Isn't this a cool
thing?
It's lagging. Look at this. I'm working on my stream interface while I'm in my stream interface. Check this out. Axel, I see you there. Come on, Axel. Come on down.
That's fair. Axel, I do appreciate you coming in here. Raid and run. No worries. Go play some Dead by Daylight. Hold up. Yeah. Go enjoy. I do appreciate you being here, though, Axel. Thank you.
Light source in front of the screen so I could see my face better. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, look at this. Look at this.
Do I look okay?
All y'all are sitting here watching me when you could be watching some Randev. 10 times better. 10 times better.
Next time, Moon. Next time, we'll figure out a way.
Yeah. Next time.
We have to collab sometime. I've been thinking about that.
Next time. Thumbs up.
For a game dev collab stream, do you just like sit together in the same stream and talk while you do your own separate things? Is that how that would work? I don't know. But I need to collab more. I need to get into that.
I don't know how that would work, actually. I honestly don't know.
Hawk's pawn
God, am I
turned
still-
Moon Man into a chicken.
Oh no, I'm a chicken.
Why am I still here?
Okay.
Go make Tomb of Vercilias.
Okay, well. Okay. All right. I have done as some Rendef has requested. We have left. We have left. All right, everybody. Anyway, back to it. So, what was I saying? Oh yes, that's right. So we were working on the procedural generation, because basically the way that it was working before, I just realized, okay, I need to do this really quickly, just so I can kind of explain what we have currently, what I was trying to do, and what we are now going to do. So if I do, let's do like 150 and 75. There we go. 72. Okay. That is not what I want to see. Image rotation. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly explain kind of how the current tomb generation works, and then what I was trying to do with procedural generation, and then the issues we were running into. So let me just really quickly get this up. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we just got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so basically, this is the full scale size of the tomb in Tomb of Vercilias. So basically, it is a 6x10 grid, and it has worked great so far, right? Everything's fine. And then basically the way that it will generate the grid, generate the floor layout. So if you think of these dark grays as the possibilities, and then as it's generating, it would basically like choose a spot to start in, and then it would basically just start going through and just running a line, and then you know, it would kind of backtrack on itself, and then kind of run around here, and then it would kind of go around here, and it would just kind of like start making these shapes, right? And it would basically be turning on these rooms that it could generate something into. And that's basically how the tomb generation worked. And then there would be a second pass that would go through and just kind of like connect all the rooms in all these weird directions, like give them doorways and all that stuff. So that is currently how the random tomb generation works. But to avoid getting too many rooms all together, so as I was showing here, sometimes though, as it was going through and generating the rooms, it would kind of get stuck in loops, and it would kind of go through here, and it would like loop-de-loop through here, and just kind of go and do all this stuff. And eventually you would sometimes get, you know, floor layouts that look like this, and it's just like a whole bunch of rooms all interconnected together, and then they've all got, you know, doorways and walkways, and it just was not a very fun looking dungeon layout, right? So to get around that, basically what I did was I told it, okay, when you are generating rooms, so say for example it starts with one room, and then as it's going along, you know, if it comes up here and then comes over here and then comes around this way, if it ever backtracks on itself, as soon as it enters a room that it had already generated in, it would essentially poison itself. And this snake that was going through and generating this room only had so much health. And so, you know, so if it backtracked and it touched this room, maybe it would go down to 5 HP left. You know, it'd start kind of generating some more stuff. And if it backtracked again, 4 HP, 3 HP, 2 HP, 1 HP. And then if it came back again and then backtracked, it would then kill the random tomb generation snake. And then it would have to regenerate the snake again. As of right now, what it would do is it would say, all right, just spawn in any location. And so it'd say, all right, we're going to spawn right here. And then it would start going through and it would start generating in more locations, which is great. Fantastic. The problem is that as soon as it then said, okay, I have now generated 40 rooms for this tomb, it would then go through, it would then connect all the rooms together with doorways, yada, 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 make sure all that's connected. And then it would go through here, make sure all these are connected. But it would not then connect this part to this part. And so if you spawned up here in this section here, you know, say for example, you're right here, but then say for example, if the exit is here and then the floor guardian was here, you could not physically get to these locations right here because there's no connection, which wasn't great. Now this only happened like 1 in every 100 or so generations, but if it happens at all and there's an unplayable dungeon, not really going to work. So I have been racking my brain trying to figure out how I was going to resolve this, because it's like I didn't want it to just create these, you know, hodgepodge of rooms. I wanted to like create something interesting, but I also couldn't have it like randomly be like, okay, now go over here and start generating over here, because it would just it just wasn't great. So I was trying to think of ways that I could get around this. And that's where I kind of thought about the idea. I was like, well, what if we do procedural generation instead of random generation? So basically, wherever you start, it will say, wherever you start, it will say, all right, this is where you've started, but it doesn't generate the dungeon at all until you start moving. So say, for example, if you started in this room, and then maybe it would say, all right, this room is going to have 3 directions. You can go this way, or this way. And so then it would then say, okay, well, if there are 3 directions that it could go, it is now going to, while it doesn't necessarily spawn a room here, it says, okay, if it can be in 3 directions, it's not just, okay, you've spawned 1 room, because, you know, we want to say, okay, you can only spawn 40 rooms in the dungeon, right? But if we are saying, okay, you can now go here, here, and here, this isn't just spawning 1 room, it is spawning technically 4 rooms because there are 4 directions. And so, but so basically the reason why I wanted to go with this direction is because if you were to go up and say, for example, it spawned here and maybe this room only had a single direction, you could only go up, and you just kind of kept following this pattern. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to go up here, maybe over here, over here. And then let's say, for example, you run into a dead end up here. Then you have to go back. All right, let's go, start going this way, here. And then by the time you get to the end and you're like, okay, well, I've gone to this room. Say, for example, this is 40 rooms, right? You get here, get to a dead end. It doesn't spawn any more rooms. You're like, okay, that's cool. But then you're like, oh, but then there was this other way that I wanted to explore. But if you come this way and it's already spawned 40 rooms, it can't spawn any more rooms. And so I was like, okay, so that's why I went with the idea of if there is a doorway at all, it's technically spawning another room. So even though it's only you're in 1 room, basically it would say, okay, but there could be up to 4 rooms because there's 1 room, 2, 3, 4, essentially, right? So we were working on the procedural generation on the last stream on Thursday, and we were making progress. We were slowly but surely making progress. We were running into a lot of hurdles though, where when you were spawning in, say, a side room, it would randomly choose how many directions you could go. And like 9 times out of 10, it'd be like, okay, you spawned in this room, you can go this way, or you can go this way. But every now and then, every 1 in 10 times, it would say, all right, you can go this way, and this way, and this way. But you can't go off the edge of the tomb, and so, you know, don't really want to do that. So I don't know why I spent so long trying to figure out how to get that corrected. And I did eventually get it working. I think I tested a bunch and it was working, but it got to the point where I'm like, okay, cool, everything's good to go there. Instead, I started testing the next portion, which was actually going through the tomb and having it procedurally generate. And it was working. Technically, it was working. So if I came up here, it would then spawn another room there, and then it would say, all right, you can go this way and this way. And I'd be like, okay, well, I want to move up. And so I'd move up, and it would say, all right, well, since it's a corner, you can only move in this direction. Everything was great. Until I realized there was a chance for it to bug out, and it would say, all right, let's spawn a room here because I go this way, and this would be like, all right, well, freak's happening. What is happening? Okay, there we go. Whew, that was good times. Anyway, so it'd be like, so I'd say, okay, so I come into this room, and then maybe, for example, it'd say, okay, well, this room's only going to be a 2-directional room, right and down. I'd be like, all right, cool. Well, then I'm going to go down, and then I'd come into this room, and it'd be like, okay, this room is a 3-directional room. You can go up, and you can go right, and you can go down. I'd be like, all right, cool. Well, then I'm going to go down, and I'd come into this room, and I'd say, all right, cool. This is a 2-directional room. You can go up, and you can go to the right. And you can see why this is a problem, because it would then just create a loop, and it never generated doors to leave here. And I racked my brain for a majority of this weekend trying to be like, how do I avoid that? How do I not accidentally have it, end in just a small loop like this? I came up with a couple solutions. One of them was basically saying, okay, if there are more than 10 rooms left to still generate, only generate 3 and 4 direction rooms. Then we started running into the issues again, where it was just generating floor layouts that just did not look interesting, because as soon as you have all these rooms all right here, and if they're all 3 and 4 directional rooms, well, then all of a sudden you've got a just completely interconnected thing here, and there's no exploration, there's no complication to it at all. It's just there, and you're like, okay, this is boring. This is very boring. I don't like it. So went back to the drawing board, and I think I've decided how we're going to fix the random tomb generation. And we're hopefully going to implement it tonight, which basically we're just going to be taking the exact same tomb generation we currently have in the tomb, and I am going to be adjusting it to basically work like this. So, as I was saying before, the way that it's currently working... Oh, wait. That was 9 minutes ago. Never mind. Sorry. Something flashed on my screen. I was like, wait, Samurai Dev gave me a shout out. It was 10 minutes ago. We're good. We're good. Wait. Okay, I feel like I have... Wait, have I fallen behind? What have I fallen behind on? Serge is going crazy because I said you were on and popped on over here. Nima Faye! Hello, welcome. Glad you're here. She's hanging on the bus. Did I sufficiently tilt them with my comment? I think so. It's Surge Streams.
Jello27 says, good morrow, sorry I was not here FKR the last couple streams I was doing things.
You are totally fine. No worries at all. It is always sad when you're not here, but I also know that life takes priority, and that is totally fine. So, but I am glad you're here. Hopefully things are going well for you. How is life? How are things going for you? The Surge streams are still like fever dream. Amazing fever dreams. I never told you what I told... Wait. I never told you what I told them I told you. Wait, what did you tell me that you did not tell them? Download Vivaldi. Vivaldi is a good one. Let's see here. Binding of Isaac handles this similar situation crazy good. It's true. Yeah, the Binding of Isaac, which actually, funny enough, way back in the day, like over a year ago when I was originally working on the Tomb generation, we looked at Binding of Isaac and what was that? The Spelunky. We also looked at the Spelunky random generation, and they both do really cool things, and I took little bits of both of them, but it never worked quite right. So I think this is probably going to be somewhat closer, and I don't know why I didn't do this in the first place. Like, now that I'm doing it, now that I've decided how to do it, this just makes more sense. But yeah, so we'll see. It probably should be pretty similar to the Binding of Isaac and Spelunky by the time we get to the end of this. It's been a while. I remember something about a Hydra method you used before. Yes, I did call it the Hydra. It was the random tomb generation Hydra. And the reason... no, so we originally called it Hydra, and then I think I decided to eventually just call it the Path Carver. That's what we called it. Because the Hydra actually ran into issues, and so I eventually had to replace Hydra. Because the reason why we called it Hydra is because as was generating, so like, start here, and then you start going through, and then like I said before, where like when you backtracked on yourself, you kind of like poison yourself and eventually cut off the head of the Hydra once it backtracked too many times, and then it would spawn a new one, and then that would start going through, spawning things, connecting rooms, and all that jazz. I feel like I just kind of unintentionally created a weird pixel dog thing. Anyway, yeah, so we did originally call it Hydra, which good on you for remembering that. And then eventually we did call it the Path Carver, but now we need to replace it again because it just is not working correctly. It's the same as the losing health. Yeah, exactly. The same as the losing health one. Let's see. Melagella says, good. I'm glad that life is going good for you. And the Steven says, hi. Hello, the Steven. Welcome. Glad you're here. Hopefully things are going well for you. Hopefully life is treating you well. What are we getting here? I'm getting some notifications. I just want to make sure. Okay. All right. We're good. Just making sure. You never know when important things are going to be coming in. So the new method. Yes. So here's the new method. So we can avoid having, rooms over here, and not actually being interfered. The new method is going to be this. And again, like, I don't know why I didn't set it up like this in the first place. Oh, well. Maybe I meant to, and I just didn't set it up right. And then now I just think I didn't. I don't know. Anyway, here is my thought. So instead of it being, okay, when it backtracks on itself, that's when it actually loses its own health. Basically, what we're going to do is we will pick a random spawn point, and we will just say, all right, pick a random direction, up, down, left, right, whichever direction you want. And then when it starts in that direction, it will have a maximum amount of health. We'll say maybe like a random number between 3 and 5, right? And it will head in that one direction, say 3 times. So we'd go 1, 2, 3. And that will be it. It would be done. It could not move anymore past that. Even though it didn't backtrack, it'll just be done with that. And then it will pick a new random starting point, but only from a room that is already currently generated. So then say, for example, maybe it starts here, and then maybe it picks up, and it's going to go up another 3. So we go 1, 2, 3, and then it would stop. And then we would say, all right, pick a new spot. It has to be in a room that you've already generated. So maybe it picks this one right here, and it would say, all right, we're going to go down 4. And it would say, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then basically we would just do this on loop until it has spawned 40 rooms. And, you know, obviously, you know, there would be some things like if, say, for example, the next room that it decided to pick was here, and if it decided left and it was going to go 5, if it went over 1, it would then hit a wall, and then it would just, you know, end itself instantly. So it would say, all right, pick a new spot, and it would say, all right, we're going to go here, and we're going to go down 4, and we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it would end itself, and then here we're going to pick left, so we'd say, you know, 1, 2, 3, and at this point, it would not matter whether it is hitting itself or not. It'll just keep going until it eventually runs out of its 3 to 5 HP. So this is the way that I feel like it's going to be the best way to avoid getting these hodgepodge of rooms that are all just a big clump of rooms, but also keep it from ever generating portions of the tomb that are never connected at all. Because on the first time that it goes, it will pick any random room, but anytime after that, it will always have to pick a room that is currently a spawned room. That way there will always be some kind of connection to the other rooms. Yeah, so that's the plan. Ink!
Welcome going to the Inkwell and your 2 amazing audience members.
Welcome, Ink. Welcome. Thank you so much for that raid. I do appreciate that. Welcome. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let me give you a quick shout out. Here, let me do this really quick. Shout out at Go Into the Inkwell. There we go. Fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody. If you are not following Go Into the Inkwell already, make sure to get over there and give Ink a follow. Thank you so much for that. Hopefully your stream went well. I do appreciate that. So thank you. Let's see here. Steven says, just finished working on the uni assignment. Turns out math is fun. Who knew? I don't believe it. I don't believe you. Math is not fun. Math is not fun. I do not believe it. Not at all. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I hate it. Have you looked up maze generation algorithms? There's a whole set of them. I actually did many moons ago. No pun intended. So I made the random tomb generation for the Tomb of Vercilias. It's been like over a year now. And so back then I was pretty knee deep in like looking up different generation
Thanks
methods.
for the follow, Feneternal Astronaut.
Thank you so much for the follow. The not so lonely astronaut. I appreciate that. I feel like the text to speech really struggled on that one. So the not so lonely astronaut, thank you so much for the follow. I do appreciate it. So I have looked up the different algorithms, and which is where I kind of landed on the first tomb generation that we were doing. I believe it was the Spelunky random level generation that I kind of used to figure out, to get it to the point where it is currently. And then now it is basically like 1 in like 100 generations. Is that what you'd call it? 1 in 100 random generations. It does run into issues, and so that's why we're kind of having to fix it, unfortunately. You're reworking the level generation. Yes, we are. Yeah, trying to avoid the potential of it ever, you know, say for example, if this is the current room layout that is spawned, having it, running into an issue where it then spawns a few rooms down here, and then that's it. Because that is what it currently does. Like 1 in every 100 or so generations, it will randomly spawn stuff like this, where it's like everything else here is all interconnected, and then you get a few rooms or just another portion of the tomb that is just not connected, and you can't get down there. Which isn't necessarily a problem if it's just monsters and items, unless, of course, we create some kind of achievements or something like that, where it's like kill all the monsters on the floor or something like that. But the issue is if it then spawns, say for example the exit or the floor guardian in one of these rooms, then it's a problem because you can't get to it. So that is why we are gonna have to redo it. So we were looking at procedural generation, and I was just running into so many weird issues. I think it's mostly just because it's like the way I'm trying to incorporate it into a system that is already built, and so I'm trying to lay that on top of a already established foundation. So I think procedural generation would work really well in my next game. But as of right now, I'm just going to redo how the random tomb generation works, and hopefully it'll be a
Going
good
to the Inkwell
thing.
says, I've done 3 consecutive streams with my mic.
Hey, that is awesome. Congratulations. That is a big step. That is a huge step. So congratulations. Absolutely fantastic. I'm hoping that I'll be able to catch one of your streams one of these times. So one of these days, I will be in there, and I will throw you words of support and encouragement. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We have been rated. It's true. We have been rated. Good times indeed. Yeah, it went fantastically. That is great to hear. I'm very glad to hear that it was a good stream for you, Ink. And Distron says, hey everyone, well, welcome. How you doing? How's life? How was your weekend? Usually it does. Usually does. Aren't you basically using math to do this generation? Basically, yeah. Which is why I hate it. It's terrible. Loki says, hello from the future. Loki, how's Japan? How are things going for you in Japan? Hopefully things are going well for you. Anything fun or exciting you want to share? Because we'd absolutely love to hear how things are going. Thinking about getting a webcam. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. It is kind of... Okay, I will say this. It is a little nerve-wracking to get on camera, especially for the first little bit. But after a while, it does get easier. I will say that. It does add a little bit, like... Okay, like, not that I don't really ever get stressed now, getting on stream, like getting on camera, getting in front of the microphone. There's not really stress anymore, but there is every now and then that I'm like, I would not mind being a PNG streamer or a what the freak are they called? I just want to call it like a waifu streamer, but that's not what it is. Like an avatar streamer. What? I cannot think of the actual name.
Steven turned Moon Man
see, there we
into
go.
a chicken.
There we go. I should just be a chicken. Then everything will be solved. I'll just be a chicken, and it'll be absolutely fantastic. I'm doing okay. This couch just keeps lingering. That blasted couch. It never seems to leave. Tell me, Loki. It's Monday.
Quell says, VTuber.
VTuber. That's the one. That is the one. I knew I knew the name, but for some reason I could not think of it. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, things are getting redeemed.
Tamarin Reap just redeemed Street.
We're gonna have to do some stretching and some chest benders and some bicep curls.
Cameron Reap wants Moon Man to do 10 chest benders.
I can do that. Do you know what else I can do?
Cameron Reap wants Moon Man to do 10 bicep curls.
I can do that as well. Absolutely can do that. 100%. It's Monday at noon. Oh my gosh, it's already noon on a Monday. Well, happy Monday to you. Happy Monday. Have you considered using a noise generator level? It would be fun to be able to do that. I don't know if that... Okay. It would be possible. I don't know how to do it. I'll say that. I don't know how to do it, especially in RPG Maker, and especially the way that I'm actually having the levels laid out. Yeah. Maybe on the next game, if I do it from the ground up, it might work better. Maybe. But I do like that idea, though. Let's see. Totally. Have you rode the Shinkansen? Heading out. Just wanted to say hi, Loki. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and we will see you on another one sometime. Don't feel like you have to pop in, even just to say hi. I do appreciate you, though. So thank you, Loki. Thank you. VTuber. Yes. I don't know why I could not think of that name. It completely ran from my head. Jesse says, hi, hello. Welcome, Jesse. Welcome. Glad you're here. How was your weekend? How are things going for you? Distron says, I ended up creating crawlers randomly. So if a room creates a branch, it has to do it before the end of the current crawl, and the key to that door, if it is locked, has to be somewhere in the remaining room. Plonking it down in the final room if the crawler is blocked. I like that. That is really cool. And that's kind of how I'm doing it currently. That is kind of currently how the random tomb generation works. I know that I've explained it a few times, like, so basically the way that it is currently working is it picks a random room. So all these grays are like the possible rooms. And in general, I just say, hey, we're going to spawn 40 rooms. And so every time I called it the path carver. So essentially it would create like this path carving snake. And it would just kind of start picking a random direction, and it would move in that direction a random number of times, like anywhere from like 1 to 5 times, let's say. And so like it would move up a few times, and then it would pick a new direction. Maybe it would go to this, this direction, and maybe it would pick down, it would come down for a few directions, and then maybe it decides to go up again. And then every time it retraces its steps, it loses health. And essentially it would have like 5 health, right? And so if it retraced its steps 5 times, it would then die, and then it would have to pick a new random spot to go to. So like, say for example, it would then spawn here. And then it would start the whole process again. It would say, all right, we're gonna go this direction, then we're gonna go this direction, and then 99 times out of 100, it would reconnect with itself, and it would start going through, and every single time it would then retrace its current or previous steps. It would lose a health, and as soon as it retraced too many times, it would then be destroyed, and it would then recreate a new one, and it would start moving in directions and all that fun stuff. So it was working well. It was working well, but again, 9 times out of 100, it would run into issues where it would spawn rooms, like, spawn a whole bunch of rooms here, and then it would spawn a few rooms down here until it ran out of rooms, and then issues would occur. So that is kind of what we were doing originally. And we're going to be doing basically that exact same thing, but instead of just saying, hey, go in these directions, yada, 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 and then as soon as you run into yourself X number of times, kill yourself, basically the way we're going to do it is you will, start at a random spot, and you're only going to move like 2 to 5 times in one direction. And then as soon as you hit the end of those times, that's it. No more. It's done.
Go into the inkwell says 45 followers.
Ooh, that is huge. That is massive. Congratulations. Very nicely done. Yeah, beautiful stuff. It honestly is very impressive to be able to getting up to 45 followers. That is insane. You are very close to 50, which is very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. And I hope, fingers crossed, I hope you get it soon. I really hope you do. So I've got my fingers crossed for you. Yeah, so basically the biggest changes are it will only move in one direction so many times before it just ends itself. It's never going to it's never going to pick a new direction. But then when it is going to pick a new spot to spawn from, it will not just pick any random spot. And here it will have to pick a spot that currently has a room. So say, for example, it'll be like, okay, we're going to go here and we're going to go left, 1, 2, and then it's out of lives. It's done. Pick a new spot and maybe it'll pick the same spot. And maybe it'll also pick to go right again or pick left to go again. But maybe this time it's going to move 3 times. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, and it's going to go here, and then it's going to end. And then maybe it picks its new room and it's right here in the room that it just spawned. And maybe it's going to pick down, and it's going to go down. And then that way they should always be interconnected. I hope there should always be a way to go. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. Yeah, that's kind of the general idea. And that is kind of the way that I have come up with this weekend to hopefully fix the issues of the disconnected. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Let's see, VTuber, never forget the trifecta. True, we will never forget the trifecta. Yes, it's 1 p.m. on a Monday here in Australia. Ooh, that's kind of fun. I mean, it wouldn't be very fun for me because that would mean I would be at work right now, which would not be fun. But that is fun for you. That is an absolute blast for you. Steven says, I don't know how to do it with noise either. I've just seen others do it. Yeah, I'm sure that someone much smarter than me could definitely figure out how to do an RPG Maker. And I'm sure that I could. But again, it's just the way that I've set up everything with this game, and without me having to go back and redo everything, I don't know if it would work, unfortunately. Oh, anyway, yeah. But I do like where your ideas are going, though. Now Loki is ignoring me. Am I not popular? Well, I think Loki left. I think Loki did. I think Loki popped in for like 2 minutes and then had to bounce. So I think that's all it was. Whoever followed me, thank you. Hopefully a lot of people did. Fingers crossed. I really hope so. Wait a minute. Hold up. Oh my gosh. Everything's fine. Everything's all right. Everything's good to go. For legal reasons, that was an anime joke. I don't know what that means. I did too. Ignore the reply. Okay. OMG, thank you. I'm stabbing Jello right now. Can I have some? That sounds like a good time. 45 followers. You should use the game of life with various patterns and guardrails. That would be fun. Me too. When's the half-century stream? Ooh. That's a ways off. That is a ways off. Keep in mind, I don't have an overlay or emotes or any other stuff yet. That is totally fine. No worries at all. You got to start somewhere. And hey, you got to start at the beginning. So I'm glad you're starting at the beginning. Bryant. Oh my goodness, Bryant. I feel like it's been so long. Welcome. Glad you're here. How you doing? How's life? I feel like I have not seen you since the end of Unboxed. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully life is going well for you. Hopefully you're not staying too busy. Hopefully you're having some time to relax and enjoy yourself. That'll come. It definitely will come. I avoided islands in the middle of nowhere by never leaving the main path. I also chose the max number of jumps at the start, and it can't move into another room or back on itself. I like that. So, well, the reason why I do want it to be able to backtrack is because there needs to be... I wanted to avoid having too linear of a path.
Going to the inkwell says, emus are discount ostriches. Prove me wrong.
I cannot prove you wrong. I agree 100%. So basically the reason why I needed to have it backtrack on itself is because when it creates a room, it essentially is creating a room with no directions, 0 doors, 0 ways to go. And then it's not until it actually moves that it then goes in and it says, okay, there needs to be a door here. So there creates a door. But I don't want it to just go in and say, hey, now if there's a room here, you also need to create a door right here. Because I don't want every room that's touching to actually have a connection. Because sometimes I want you to have to go up and around. It's like, you know, maybe there's a whole, you know, hallway down here, and maybe have a hallway that's running parallel to that hallway, and then, you know, maybe it branches off of here. But maybe I only want to have a pathway that goes like this, and then you have to go through here and then down through here. So you can't just go over to here and come through here. You got to go over, up and around, down, and through here. So the reason why I have it be able to backtrack on itself is because, you know, if it starts here and then, you know, kind of starts building out the rooms, and then maybe it'll come back over here and then come back over here and then go over here. And so if it's following the path, it would say, all right, create a walkway like this, 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 and then this. So technically, these rooms are all interconnected now, whereas it, you know, if it hadn't backtracked on itself, it would basically say, all right, here, 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 and then here to here, which is fine. But maybe sometimes, you know, I want a 4-directional room or an interconnected room. So that's why I allow it to backtrack on itself. But up until this point, I was telling it, hey, you know, you can't respawn in a room that you had already spawned in, which was then causing the issues of it kind of sometimes creating rooms that were never connected to anything, which is not great. That is a really way to smart to do it for yourself. I base it on how the random generation in Castle Ravenloft also adds. Oh, those blasted ads. But I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back. Castle Ravenloft, that is a great way to base it on. Been working on my physics/chemistry trading tool. Ooh, nice. Can it move diagonally? So it cannot move diagonally. It does have to move in one of 4 directions, up, down, left, right. And then basically, yeah, so as it's going, it is creating that path. And so, you know, if it's in this room right here, and if it were to move down, it then says, okay, cool.
Going to the Inkwell says, the Australian government once lost a war with the emu.
I saw a documentary on that once. This is crazy. Absolutely wild stuff. So it would then say, all right, create a doorway here. And then say, for example, if it comes down here, and then if it comes down again, it would then say, okay, yeah, create 2 more doorways here. And then if it then, you know, stopped and came back over here, and then say it, you know, goes here, over, down, down, it would create a path like this, 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 but it wouldn't connect these 2 right here. So if you wanted to get to this room here and you were in this room, you would have to go all the way up and around over to here. You couldn't just go here, here. So that is how it is technically working. But again, avoiding it so that it doesn't ever, once it runs out of room to go, it picking another random room, it has to go into a room that it has already been in. So hopefully that will be the fix. Hopefully that'll make it all good to go, and it should be a good time. I hope. So anyway, I am going to crank the jams. We're going to do the trifecta, and then we're going to get in here and redo the random tomb generation and see if we can actually get it to go well. So here we go. Let's crank the jams. It's going to be a good time. Here we go. Let's get off my butt. All right, everybody. You know how it goes. 10 on the clock. Count them with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. And now it's time for the chest benders. 10 on the clock. Count it with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. Oh, and now time for a good stretch, everybody. Is everybody ready for a good stretch? I know that I am. Oh, let's go to the left this time. Here we go. And then to the right. Oh, and backwards. Oh. Oh. That felt good. That felt really good. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Whew. Ooh, you know, coming over here to Twitch and subbing will get you ads to leave for a month? What? Wait, you know, coming over here to Twitch and subbing will get your ads to leave. Oh! I see what you're saying now. That's true. That's true. The ads will leave for a month. Can I send a link for a type of maze generation I found? I think it's in JavaScript. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, yeah, if you want to post a link, I could see what's possible to maybe use from it. It also kind of depends on how crazy it is, because I may look at it and just be like, can do it. Oh, let's see. What do we got here? What have we got here? Oh, let's see. A non-allocating library for generating perfect mazes for games and puzzles using the origin shift algorithm. I guess the question is, The question is, what is the origin shift algorithm? The origin shift algorithm was discussed in a January 2024 video. Turns out to be a rediscovery of an algorithm described in 1988 paper by Markov chains by V. Anatharum. It's been noted, okay, the key property of origin shift is that the starting point is an already perfect maze, and every iteration produces a new perfect maze. During the maze generation, we thus never have to ask if the maze is complete. It always is. However, since we usually start with a trivial maze, and we still run the algorithm steps quite a few times to make the maze fair. Okay, all right. So it requires a perfect maze to begin with, and might be a reason why it's not looking to consider this approach. However, a baseline perfect maze is trivial to construct programmatically, regardless of size. The initial maze is my convention. One of the origin lower left node. Every node points to its right neighbor, except for the last one on the each row, which points to its neighbor below. Okay, all right. Interesting. Huh. Okay. You should be able to convince yourself that wherever you start navigating in this maze, you'll end up at the origin. The simple maze mutation algorithm below maintains this property no matter how often you iterate. Put the current origin to a neighbor in any random direction. Make the selected neighbor point to nothing, thus also making it the new origin. Direction can be picked by any means, but a good PRNG is usually used. After a number of iterations, the maze paths may look something like this. Okay. Eventually end up at the origin. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, I have a feeling the way that this is set up would not work well with RPG Maker, unfortunately. Here's the thing with RPG Maker. While you can use JavaScript, you unfortunately... It's very, very limited, I guess would be a great way to describe it. It's very, very limited because, and here's the reason why. So if I come in here to common events and we go to RTG 2.1, so the 2.0, which is what we're going to be using. So if I wanted to do some JavaScript, right? So I'd come in here and I would say, all right, new script. And then this is what I got. This is my JavaScript window, right? But I can only have this many lines before it then is just gone. And so most JavaScript is going to be more like, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I feel like most JavaScript is longer than 12 lines of code. And again, with the way that JavaScript works is like, or the way that RPG Maker works with the JavaScript, whatever I declare in here, I cannot then reference back. Like I can't just like do 12 lines of code, hit OK, and then, create a new script box and reference all the same stuff. Like if I declare a variable in here, right? Like if I'm like const I don't know, purple equals 5, I could not then come over here and say, if purple equals 5, because it would be like, what is purple? Like I don't know what that is. What? So yeah, that's like the biggest issue with RPG Maker using JavaScript is that they allow it. Honestly, the best thing to do would probably be take that JavaScript and I would have to write a plugin for it, which I could do. I'm still very, very inexperienced when it comes to plugins. Like I've made a couple basic ones, right? And that's about it. I'll have to think about it because it could very well be a really great way to go. But I think the way that I want to have this work, yeah, I don't know. But I'll definitely look into it a little bit more and just kind of see if it would be better. But Yeah. So I do appreciate you sharing, though. I do appreciate it. My internet crashed for a minute. Well, I gotta go lurk. Ink, I do appreciate that. I'm sorry that your internet crashed for a bit, but I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, your evening, and yeah, thank you for lurking. That's what Minecraft uses for caves and such. Ooh. Well, then I know it's legit. I've started watching my own VODs to find parts to turn into clips and post elsewhere. Definitely should. 100% absolutely should.
Nick says, you know what they say, one man's trash is like a box of chocolates in a glass house, to another two birds' treasure, that's always greener in someone else's shoes, but only when the iron is hot to those who wait.
Yeah, it's a great point. And if I had 9 lives, I don't think I would ever be able to go through all of that wisdom that you shared with me right now. So that's what I got. Thank you for sharing, Steve. Thank you for sharing. Holy smokes. That's a lot of references. Let's see. You can click on the build.zig file to look at the code. This is difficult limitation. Yeah, and I definitely will be taking a look at it and just kind of seeing what might be able to work. But yeah, it's honestly like, unless I write a plugin for it, I don't know if it's really going to work that well. Yeah, definitely pulling stuff from your VODs to then be able to turn it into shorts and other like mid-length content is a great way to be able to grow. It may not all be gold. It may not all be bangers. I know that the stuff that I upload to like YouTube and stuff like that, I know that's not all bangers, and some do better than others. But it's just the fact that like getting stuff out there so the algorithm can start and keep promoting you. That is half the battle, and that is going to be some of the most important part of the battle, is just making sure the algorithm knows you're there and you're ready to be picked up. So yeah, keep it going though. Sorry if I've talked about this before, but does anyone here remember the games fact? We were talking about that. Was that last Thursday? Or was it last Tuesday? I feel like we were talking about it last week. Have you decided on the game you're gonna make with it though? Of course, that's like comparing 2 fruits to a glass. Exactly. So like that's like the equation of everything of conventional wisdom. Thank you. But I am just the messenger. True. You definitely are just the messenger. Let's see. Jesse says, darn, I'm not going to be able to focus on stream tonight, helping my wife set up a new OS. Have a nice night, Moon Man and Space Crew. Jesse, good luck with setting up the new OS. I hope that goes well for you. And I do appreciate you being here, even if it's just for a little bit. I do appreciate it. So thank you. Okay. So, yeah. Wait, well, I want to make Diablo-like game with it, having quite a time getting graphics into that thing, though. Yeah, that's that would be quite challenging to make in the Games Factory. That would be impressive if you can make it. I've got my fingers crossed for you. And if you figure it out, let me know, because I would love to hear about that, because that is wild. Thank you for the follow, dude. I'm just surprised that I wasn't following before. When I clicked on your name, because I was going to go check and see if the number was going up at all, and then I saw the follow button, I'm like, how long have I not been? I have righted my wrongs, though. I've righted my wrongs. Also says the person making a roguelike an RPG. I mean, okay, that's fair. That's fair. It's a good point. I can't really argue with that. Okay, everybody. So I basically just created a carbon copy as of right now from version 1.0, just in case 2.0 does not work well. We can just revert back to 1.0 and everything will be good to go. But basically we can keep essentially everything that it currently does. We can keep all of it. We just need to change how it is moving around and how it then respawns. So I'm hoping it's going to be not so bad. I hope. There is some isometric stuff on itch. Wait. Are you having an issue getting graphics into it, or you're having an issue getting the graphics? If you're making it isometric, I could see that being like isometric is ridiculously difficult to work with. At least in RPG Maker it is. But I did come up with that. I'm not the messenger as I am as in carrying on that message. That's what you mean. I thought you came up with that yourself. I'm having issues at getting the graphics. Okay, that's what I figured you meant. Still, non-isometric is difficult in any engine. Okay, good. I'm glad that it's not just RPG Maker. Yeah, isometric, it looks amazing, but it is a very difficult thing to work with. But I believe in you. I know that you can do it. I believe. I believe, and I'll keep my fingers crossed. All right. I did. That's not what my message. Oh. Okay, I see what you mean now. See, look, I see what you mean now. Also, it will kind of be fake isometric. It will be really regular 2D with an ISO view. Well, isn't that how like the original Diablo was? It was literally just 2D, but then they like had to figure out how to like make the isometric graphics layer on top of each other, and they ran into all sorts of weird like layering issues. That's most isometric. Yeah, exactly. I feel like the only way you can get like correct isometric is you would have to use a 3D engine and rotate the camera 45 degrees and like get it in like that. Like I feel like that's the only way to like make an actual isometric view without it being 2D, faked in 2D, is literally just that you'd have to use a 3D engine. So anything 2D, it is going to be technically fake isometric, but as long as you can make it look correct, then that's half the battle. Friggin' Comet is a hero here? Who's Comet? Who's a hero? As far as I know, you don't need an actual 3D engine, you just need 3D height data. I guess that's true, that's true. I'm using it to help understand the code that Ratatouille understands, I know. Like an Ultima 7 and 8. True, yeah, Ultima 7 and 8, yeah. Yeah, just some height data, honestly, is really all you need to get that isometric view and look and feel. Okay, let's see here. Comment is Perplexity's a... that's right. I forgot about that. I remember I tried it once. Wasn't a fan. Not a fan. Well, I wasn't a fan because of the things that I was wanting it to do, it didn't do, unfortunately. Okay, so here's how this works. We got a loop here, and then we got a loop here. That is basically the rest of the movement, I believe. Yes, so this is all past one. Okay. So, what do we need to change here? So this takes the random spawn point and puts it in a new variable, which is the RTG current snake location, which I don't think we technically need to do anymore. So what references 372? 372, 372, 365, 373. Okay, so pretty sure I should just be able to come in here and just say random spawn point 366. $373. Great rooms are blocky. Great room layouts. Great room layouts. Pass 3 part 2 is moving the path carver snake. Path carver has moved X spaces, new direction. Wait, what? Is this not pass 1? Oh, this is pass 1. The best part about using AI to help with Godot is that Godot updates so often, improves so often that most info it uses is out of date. True. The AI is just like, no, trust me, bro. And you're like, no. I promise it's not. I forgot to ask, how did the chicken game go in the game jam? I actually have not checked it in a while. It's been a while. So the reason why I haven't really checked is because the last I saw, maybe I need to actually check. So results. I don't know. Let's see. Jam is over. It ran. Okay. Results. Welcome. Theme. I don't know if they would have posted here if everything was good. I know they were still playing games, but I don't know if they've played all of them. Now I actually wonder. Have you played all the games? No thanks. Live. I know they played... Okay, so this is still... Yeah, so right here games. Part 4? Wow, they took a long break. Okay, so yeah, so basically, my game was played in part 2. So they were playing worst to best, I guess you could say. So they took the top 100, which I did technically make in the top 100, which was great. I'm very happy that I made a top 100, but I believe I made it into 80th place. If we go over here to entries, results, yeah, so there is no judge's choice yet. Yeah, so overall, I believe I have to come all the way down to 80th place. So yeah, so 21st. Let's go to page, will that be page 6? 101st. Oops. Okay, I went one too far. Page 5. Was it actually 80th? Or maybe I got like... Okay, so I think it was 80th, like on the dot. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so 80th place on the dot was unboxed, which, again, 80th place out of 524. Honestly, not that bad. It's not the best ranking I've ever gotten. I mean, I guess I've only participated in like 3 game jams, but 80th out of like 524, I'm totally fine with that. Like 100%, I'm like, you know what, whatever. So that was the overall ranking. So 43 ratings, I got a 3.493 out of 5. So not too bad, not quite a 4, but I'll take it. But they have not finished playing the games yet. So yeah, so they played my game here, and it seems like they're playing about 20-ish. No, it was about like 15 per stream. At least on the first and the second streams, it was about 15 games each stream. So I'm gonna guess they probably have about another 5-ish streams to go before they finally get to the end, which is why I find it kind of crazy, because they were going for a while where it was like, you know, because I think the first stream was, yeah, so 10 days ago, and then 9 days ago, and then I guess they took a few day break and they did it again, and then now this is scheduled for tomorrow. Then they took like almost a week off. It'll actually be a week. Wow, that is actually kind of wild to me. They're like taking so long to play the games and rank them. Oh, so anyway, so technically at the end of the day, so this is the public ranking right here. So 80th place, again, totally fine with that. But eventually, once they get the judge's choice, this is where the actual prizes will be. So again, we've kind of gone over it, but just like as a quick reminder, so first place prize is a publishing consideration and then $100 reward. And then second and third is $100, just without the publishing consideration. Fourth and fifth place is $20 Steam gift cards. And then the top 10 is honorable mentions, and then the top 50. So basically, so long as if we get top 50, I'll actually be really, really happy and excited about that, because top 50 gets put into like their games collection. So they're going to be taking all like the top 50 games and then putting them into a singular, essentially launcher, and then they're putting that on Steam. So it would get our game put in front of more eyes, which would hopefully get more people to like know about us and maybe see, you know, I don't know, maybe. So honestly, like I'm crossing my fingers for maybe at least top 50. That I like honestly like that would be my dream. And from what I've seen, because I've watched the first 2 streams. So yeah, so I watched this one, went back and rewatched it again, and then I watched this one, and then I need to catch up on this one. But I haven't seen another game that anybody made that was an idle game. So I'm hoping that maybe just that enough will be enough to like set it apart. They'll be like, they can be somewhere in the top 50. Even if it's just 50th spot, I'll be happy with that. Even if it's just top 50, I'll be 100% happy with that. We're definitely not getting first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, or even 10th. I highly doubt we're going to get 10th. But if I get top 50 somewhere, I'd be all right with that. But who knows? So their judging is going to keep going, probably again for, I mean, at this rate, unless they pick it up, probably going to be going for the next at least 2 weeks. I'm assuming they're probably planning on having this done, I guess maybe before the end of, maybe the end of the month, maybe. They don't really have a deadline. They're not really saying, at least I don't think they will be saying, the jam is set to run over the course of the month. I don't think they've really said games will rank publicly until April 7th. Paladin Judge will play the top 10 games. Top 100 games. Yeah, so they don't really say like when they're planning on being done. So really it's just kind of a when they get there, they get there. But again, like they're playing them ranked, you know, from 100th and up, like the public rankings. which is why, you know, I got my game played on the second day, is because, again, like, it's my game was 80th place. Yeah. So my assumption is they will probably spend more and more and more time. That... Huh. That seems weird. That seems bizarre how the ranking is with this. Like, this is not like me getting upset for myself. This is kind of me getting upset for, like, for WUB gets the cut. Because they got 50 ratings and still got a 4.544 versus this game, they got a 4.640. They only had 15 ratings. I feel like they need to fix that. I almost feel like they're not taking weighting into consideration. Because a higher ranked game, or a higher ranking, like a higher score with less reviews should weigh less than the higher scores on something with more ratings. Yeah, I feel like they need to fix that. Here's the thing, the more people that review your game, you're gonna get more negative reviews. And so if you were able to endure, well, 50 ratings and get an average of 4.5 versus only 15 ratings and get a 4.6. Huh. I don't know, I feel like they need to fix that. That does seem kind of unfair, because like WUB gets the cut. This was one that I'm pretty sure was in like first place or maybe even second place during the like public voting, because like for anybody that was here on stream right before the public voting ended, it like Unboxed, I think, was in like fourth place basically the entirety of the voting, and I know that WUB gets the cut was also like within like the top 5. Then like all these, I didn't see any of these games in like the top 10. Free Will, I think that Free Will was second place for like basically all of it, and they got 73 ratings. How are you going to get 73 ratings, averaging 4.0, and not have a... yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're going to get more ratings, that should take into consideration. Anywho, well, all that aside, so that's kind of what's going on with the game right now. I know that was kind of a long answer, but yeah, so basically to answer your question, they are still playing the games to vote, so which is why I'm kind of saying this whole public voting thing doesn't really technically mean anything, which I feel like the judges are going to realize, because they are playing them from worst to best. And so basically they took this list, they took the top 100, and they are going down the list. So they started with, if we go to the next page and we go to page 6, would it be? No, page 5. They started with this game here, Bouncing Back. This was the first game they played, because out of 18 ratings, it got a 3.36. But again, like, then you get here, like 28 ratings, 31 ratings, 20 ratings, 15, 51. It's like so many more people played this game. And yeah, maybe it didn't get as high of a rating, but it had 51 people rate it. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that definitely does seem like it would be kind of easy to break this system, honestly. I mean, like, obviously, like, you can't just... But, like, if one game gets one review and they get a 5 out of 5 across the board, does that just mean it's automatically the best ranked game? Like, technically, I'm pretty sure that's how that would work. Like, I'm pretty sure if just this game had one person review it, and they gave it a 5 out of 5, and then nobody else rated it throughout the entirety, you would be the top rated game because you'd have a 5 out of 5. Okay, all right. Well, ratings were given to 517 entries, 98.7% between March 31st and blah, 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 blah. The average number of ratings per game was 14.9. The median was 11. Okay. So it doesn't really seem like they take into consideration. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, good times. It says Game Jam at the top. Don't expect to see you here. Fair enough. I think another game dev I was watching rated into them at one point. Sorry, where do you know me from? But that's like comparing apples to how far they fell from the tree. True. They seemed cool, so I followed. Yeah. So if one person gives a super high score, they can go up there. Exactly. I guess that's exactly what I was saying. You just said it way before I did. So I eventually got there. I got there eventually. But yeah, it does seem like you wouldn't even necessarily have to bot. Although here's the thing. So they did take it. They did take that into consideration, right? Like, unless you, 1, joined the jam, and 2, submitted a game, you can't come in here and vote. So it's not like you can just be like, hey, here's a link to my game. Give me 5s across the board. Like, you can't just do that technically. So you do have to be a part of it, but you still could technically be like, hey, 500 people who watch me, can you all go join this game jam, go create some terrible little game and submit it so that when I submit my game, you can all go in and just give me 5 stars across the board and I'll win. Like, I feel like you could, and like, true, that could probably easily be, rooted out, but still, again, you could very easily do it behind the scenes. Like, all you'd have to do is just go in and create, like, because like, what does it say? The average number of ratings is 14.9, so just under 15. So literally all you would have to do is spend, I don't know, an hour creating 40 fake itch accounts, join the game jam, and then just throw together a whole bunch of just absolutely terrible garbage games, submit them, and then use those submission entries to be able to then go and artificially pump up your main game. And then all of a sudden, look at that, you got the top game. Yeah, that's, Well, oh well. Again, like I said, that's why it doesn't really matter. The actual results, like, yeah, we got 80th, whatever, fine. But eventually it comes down to the judge's choice. So eventually when the judges post theirs, that's when we'll know, like, the official ranking of the game. And we'll see what happens. But if nothing else, we got top 100, and I'm happy with that. I am happy with that, and I'm A-okay with that. All right, let's see here. Yeah, it seems like it could easily be hacked. Shucks, you might have been botted. Yeah, though, you might not even need to bot at that point. True. Let's see, they should average out the ratings to scale. Exactly. Yeah, they should definitely take into consideration how many rankings you got versus what the actual rankings you were getting. So, like, yeah, so how many votes versus what votes you actually got. Yeah, 100%. It definitely needs to scale. They need to have some kind of weighting system. How many reviews did you get? I don't remember. Let's come down here. We go to next page, and then we go over here to page 5. Wait. Nope. Page 4. Unboxed got 43 ratings. So we got reviewed 43 times. Which is like, on this page, did anyone else even get into the 40s? Yeah, so 38, pretty close. 25, 35, 41. All right, in the 40s. 26, 22, 11, 40, 17, 32. Oh, so there we go. 68. 68 reviews, averaging a 3.5. It definitely needs to, like, weigh it better. Oh, well. Oh, well. You know what? It's whatever. It's whatever. It was fun. We had a good time making the game. I had a good time making the game, and it is what it is, so. Like, I have a business account and a personal account on Twitch. Yeah, true. Like, you could very easily artificially inflate your numbers, honestly. Didn't mean to derail to coding. No, you're good. You're good. Just make a ton of accounts automatically and give it 5 stars. True. And here's the other thing, too, is if you had even more time, you wouldn't even necessarily have to make, like, 40 accounts. Just do, like, 10 accounts, where with those 10 accounts, you give yourself 5 stars on every single account. And then at that point, all you have to do is then go in and give 1-star reviews to everybody else. Because you can rank games without leaving an actual review. So you could just go in and just in probably like an hour, you could probably go through the majority of these entries and just do 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. Just do that for like 300 of them, just to really kind of like solidify your space, and then go in, do it again on the other account, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And you could probably pretty easily, again, create a bot to do something like that. And then there you go. You could then just artificially be like, there we go, I'm number 1 now. By a landslide. I got a 4.95, and the next person in line got a 3.1 or something. So, yeah. Oh well. Well, that's that. Now I know. True. We are taking a break for the kiddo to play. Oh, nice. How are things going, though, Loki? Hopefully things are going well in the wild, wild land of Japan. Loki, have you ridden the Shinkansen? Asked earlier, but you vaporized before I get an answer. You could have added a +1 or whatever multiplier they use for each review. So even if the game wasn't reviewed great, having been reviewed a lot would boost the rating. True. They could also have that. Yeah. For every rating you get, it increases the actual score by like multiplies it by like 1.1 or something. I don't know. Oh, let's see here. Let's see. Nick says, hell yeah, good luck on your jam submission. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Big question, though. Did you make any new friends during the jam? I don't know. Did I? Did I make any new friends? Maybe. That's built-in itch feature with ratings. That's not the jam. Oh, no. I am definitely not blaming, Bad Ideas Productions or Johnny Razor. I'm not putting any of this on them. Not at all. So if anyone was thinking I was blaming the judges or the person who put on the game jam, absolutely not. No, this is 100% an itch thing. The itch needs to actually realize that this is a flawed rating system. They obviously put some safeguards in place, but this is very flawed. Like, at my own, I was gonna say startup. We're not a startup anymore, but like at my own relatively smaller company that I work at, even we have weights for like priorities in projects when we're doing like annual bonuses and things like that. You say, okay, here, because you're like, hey, here's the 10 projects we want you to work on this year. Some of them are higher priority than others, and others are lower priority. And so you add a certain weight to them, to the higher priority ones. And you say, hey, so long as you get this thing done, this is going to be worth 40% of your bonus versus this one, which is much lower priority. This is only 5%. And so it's like, okay, prioritize this one with the higher, heavier weight because you're going to get more of your bonus if you finish the higher priority one, and then focus on the little one later because it's got a lower weight to it. I feel like they need to do some kind of weighting system like that where it's like the more reviews you have, those reviews should be more heavily weighted because you're probably going to get more negative reviews the more reviews you get. And so if you can get more positive, like even if it's not as positive of reviews, the fact that you're getting more reviews should be taken into account because it's like, well, again, if only one person reviews a game and they get a 5-star, then it's like suddenly that's the top game because it's 5 out of 5. So yeah. Anyway, let's see. Now the game jam source. I have 2 jams. You could do that, but judges can remove entries. Oh, that's true. They could remove entries, but they would actually put 2 and 2 together, right? So it's like if someone is actually conniving enough about it, then it could maybe work. I've removed lots of spam entries before. True, and I feel like good organizers would do stuff like that. But then it also comes down to, are they going to be able to go through and actually filter through 7,800 ratings? That is a lot of ratings to go through just to see, like, are all these legit? Like, are there any people spamming this? Are there any issues here? So I don't know. They might still at least do like a portion of them. Maybe. No, we are close to that inner. There's that timer, Cameron. How many sets of seashells could Sally sell if Sally could sell sets of seashells? And could she sell more sets of seashells than pecks of pickled peppers Peter Piper could pick? I like how the only part of that I actually kind of stumbled over was the could. Everything else I feel like was flawless. Let me know if that was not flawless. I almost feel like that was flawless. Maybe slow, but flawless. No, we were just staying in Tokyo. We took one of the trains from the airport to the hotel. Nice. 2 and 2 together. Huh. I should add that. It was surprisingly good. Thank you, Sealing. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that, and if it's not good, then I'm gonna feel really embarrassed that I'm sitting here patting myself on the back saying, wow, that was a pretty good tongue twister that I actually got through. So anyway, all right. So we're gonna get back into this though. We are going to get back in and see what's going on here. So all right. So number of rooms. So if number of rooms is equal to 0, break the loop. All right. This is the actual loop that goes through here, actually creating the layout. Yes, it is. Okay. So I don't think we actually need to set 372 to equal 366. We really don't. We really do not. So let's do this. Let's actually just get rid of this. So anywhere that it says 372, we just need to replace it to say 366, because 366 is the random spawn location. So 372, this is now 366. 372 is now 366. I'm pretty sure that's the only 2 places. I think literally everywhere else is nothing else even remotely close. Yeah, 372 is no longer used. Okay. Cool. Okay. So now we then say if 97 plus 366 times 4 is equal to 0, then we just want to say set that room to be equal to 100. So that means it is just equaling that there is a room there and the number of rooms minus 1. Okay. But I don't think we actually want that. I don't think we want that. We may get rid of that thing actually entirely. So if number of rooms equals 0, break the loop, move out of here. If not, though, then move in the RTG snake. So RTG snake movement remaining. You're equal to 0. So this is where we will actually need to change this. We do have RTG snake movement remaining. Okay. So let's just say if you have 0 remaining, then we're choosing a new random direction. And snake movement remaining. Plus random between 1 and 2. Okay, no. We want to say what do we want to say? Let's see what happens down here. So if the snake direction is equal to 1, that means it's going to be moving up. And then, so then if you are less than 55, then to say 366 plus 6. If you are going right, so long as you are not equal to... I know that I could replace that technically, but I'm not going to. And say plus 1. If you're going down and you are greater than 6, subtract by 1. If you're going left, then do that, subtract by... Okay, then if... 373. So if snake movement remaining is greater than or equal to 3, set snake movement to equal 0. How am I taking into consideration? Oh, okay. If you're not equal to 1, 7, okay. But then if you are, it doesn't really do anything. All right. So I think what we need to do then... Okay. All right, I need to write this down. Notepad. Okay. So what do we need to actually do? That is the question. So we need to say, we need to set path carver movement to be between 2 and 5, I think. And then we're going to say choose direction, and then move in that direction till hitting outer wall. And then just, no, move in that direction. And then if hitting outer wall or run out of movement, respawn position, and then repeat step 1. Okay, so that's what we need to do. So basically we just need to say, set the movement to be between 2 and 5, choose a direction to go into, move in that direction repeatedly, and then if you hit an outer wall or if you run out of movement speed, then respawn the position and then just start at step 1. Yeah. Okay. So, up here, we need to got that loop there, and this loop here. Right before we jump into this loop, we need to say, set the snake movement remaining. Right before the loop, we need to say RTG snake movement remaining. We need to set it to a random number between 2 and 5. Okay. Okay, so then it loops. Now, do we need this? We will need that eventually. This also needs to be down to the bottom, I think. Repeat above, so let's put that down there. Yes, we will need that. Okay. So, we need to set moving RTG snake. Of RTG snake movement remaining is equal to 0. Let's run out of movement. I'm gonna throw this on the bottom too. That way we just have it. Okay, so the first thing we need to check is if snake movement is equal to 0, then I think we just need to jump to label, start again. And up here is going to be label, start again. And here, let's grab the random spawn point. Maybe we don't. Let's not do that. Let's not do the whole start again. So let's actually cut this, put this back up here. Down here, if you're equal to 0, this is where we need to actually tell it to set a new spawn location. And we need to do that. Okay. Then we need to grab this condition that we have here. And here we need another conditional branch. Then we just need to say if the room that the snake is in if it's equal equal to 0. Yeah, I think at that point we would want to say if you're equal to 0, we need a loop. That's what I'm missing. I was like, what is happening here? Okay, so loop, set it to be a random number between 1 and 60. If you are not equal to 0, then we'll break the loop. This way, it's needing to... Yeah, so it needs to pick a random room that is already established and there. Yeah, so run out of movement, set a random room. As long as that room is not equal to 0, break the loop. And then we'll set new snake movement between 2 and 5. We'll say the snake direction is going to be equal to 1 through 2. And movement remaining plus 1 to 2 at. Then else we just want to say subtract 1 from the snake movement. Yeah. Okay. So now, if snake direction is equal to 1, moving up. As long as you are, if you are less than 55, move up. But we basically just want to say as soon as you hit the wall, so if you are not less than 55, that means you've hit the wall. Then we just want to say snake movement remaining, just set it to 0. As soon as it hits the wall, it should just be done. It's over. It can no longer move. We don't want it to pick a new direction. We just want it to be over. And it has to pick a new spot and a new direction. I think basically we just want to do that in all of these. So if it hits any of these walls, up, right, down, or left, 0 at its movement. And then RG snake movement remaining is greater than or equal to 3. Set it to 0. We don't need that. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay. So then this guy, we should be fine here. Oh, this is it actually creating the room. Okay. So then we just want to say, if this is equal to 0, then create the room, reduce number of rooms by 1, and then if number of rooms is ever equal to 0, break this loop. And then random spawn point equals 1. Yes. And RGG pass progress plus 1. Okay. I wonder if we say show map, is that what it's called? I don't remember. Documents, GitHub, Tomb of Vercilias, images, pictures. It's pretty sure it's map. Yeah, map. Okay. Just copy that. I just want to see it get spawned, you know? I just want to see and like watch it and make sure we're good to go. So we just set you to 100. Do I have... Why did I close it again? Documents. GitHub. Tomb of Vercilias. Images. Pictures. Map. Do I have... I guess I have map... Yeah, I have map 100. All right, cool. Yeah, so show we establishing 367 already? Room pick ID equals 50. Cool. Okay, so show room pick ID, so 367. It's going to be map plus 7 plus 372 times 4. You don't need the dash. Okay, now how deep are we in this whole thing? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, that should be it. It'll be 370 plus 368 times 36. I don't know if that's actually going to show correctly. We'll give it a shot. We'll give it a try. Then we're just going to say, wait for like 30 frames. I just want to see what this actually does. And over here in the tomb, you're going to trigger. What are you going to trigger? We don't want you to trigger procedural generation. We want you to trigger RTG 2.0. Okay, let's see what happens. I feel like this is just kind of throwing, I don't know, friggin' potato at the wall and seeing what happens. I'd put a picture of my code in Creator Corner. Oh, let's go take a look at that before we roll the dice on this thing. Let's see here. It's an awkward frame for the left fox. What? Awkward frame. Oh! Nah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, Cameron. It's Creator Corner, you said, right? Oh! Oh my gosh, I've missed so much. Code for a simple project. Ooh. I think it's looking pretty good. Okay, we're ready to define main. This code makes sure that Rust does not return any error until the terminal is released. Otherwise, runs the program defined at app. Now, let's make a struct for the state of the program. This program is pretty simple, so we'll have a short struct. This defines implementations. 1 to make a default value and 1 to debug. Nice! I like it. Very nicely done. Looking good. Looking fantastic. Okay, let's see what happens. Map 0. All right. Maybe we'll just tell it to not do this, right? Oh! Because I'm telling it to show the picture before it even defines what that thing is. That'd be why. Now if this is any better, still cannot show map 0. Again, I guess we can just not worry about this. We're showing 367. What if we say starts at 50, show it, and then we add 1. That is going to be necessary. Now it's still trying to show, so we're saying, oh, 372. That would do it. We want you to be 366, yeah? 366. Okay, that was probably it. My internet is being unstable again. Blasted freaking internet. I'm sorry, TripAdvisor. I'm sorry. Hopefully, it'll start doing better soon. I hope. Fingers crossed. I don't know what's happening here. Not as bad as some nights. Yesterday, it was all day. That's the worst. Honestly, like, when internet is just struggling, terrible. Terrible stuff. Hopefully, I've got my fingers crossed. I hope that it will start doing better soon for you. I hope. But other than your internet, how's life going for you? It's been bad at night for almost a year. Oh my gosh. I probably would have lost it if it had been bad for that long. I've had times where like my internet will be bad for like an hour and I'm calling on my ISP and I'm like, what's going on? Why are you guys failing so badly? Get it fixed. Get it working. And yeah. To be fair though, they say it's supposed to be good internet. And so when it's not good, I'm like, all right, guys. You claim to be good, so let's be good, all right? Be good. Maybe it's the X and Y. 370 plus 368 times 36. I guess this doesn't technically have to happen. It's always fun to watch it get built out, but I'm not going to sit here and diagnose that while all this is going on. Okay. All right. Got a layout. I'm actually kind of surprised we got a layout. What happens if we refresh again? Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. I mean, some of the layout. Okay, that's actually a really cool looking layout. I really like that one. Interesting. It's so crazy how like just changing a couple parameters makes random gen just change so much. So now you got just like this cool little hallway that just like leads to nowhere and you're like, what's down this way? Let's go. And then you get to it and you're like, oh, it's just a dead end. Okay, all right. It's also really fast. That is so fast. I like it. That's a big improvement. It's true. Like, okay, all right. Let me just like show you what it actually was looking like before. So if I come in here and I change this to version 1.0, so this is what the random tomb generation was looking like before. Now, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of difference in some of them, but others will feel a lot more blocky. Like they just don't feel like some of them are cool, but like this one, it's literally just like it just feels so blocky. And again, some of them you get really cool looking ones. And, you know, some of them are all right. But like this one, it's literally just every single room here is just an interconnected room. Like literally all right here. It's like you can go all through here, every single direction. Like there would be no aside from just like the initial exploration of it, all of that is just literally every single spot right here is all interconnected. And then you get like this weird, like nothing's connected here, but then like you get through and then you're like, okay, well, here's this little hallway. And I feel like more often than not, that's what these ones are. Like, again, you do get some cool ones every now and then. Like you get this weird, like little runoff here. You get these little interesting rooms over here. This one's kind of cool. That one's kind of cool. This one's interesting enough. But I feel like more often than not, you weren't getting these cool ones. You were just getting these blocky rooms here where it's just like every single spot here is just all interconnected, right? This is a big improvement. When it is running in between the crashes, it runs at like 500 megabits per second. I'd trade half of that speed for stability. True. Yeah, 250 megabits per second. If it was stable, 100% worth it. Yeah. And see, mine is supposed to be gigabit, which I am very, very happy when it's actually gigabit. I feel like more often than not, though, mine's about 500 megabits per second. At least it is stable, though. It is stable. And again, like, unless I'm actually downloading, like, Baldur's Gate 3 or something like that, I don't usually notice that it's not crazy fast. So, you know. So corridors are more important. I would say in general, yeah, I do like having the corridors. I do like these, like, open areas here. Like, they're fine. But I do feel like the corridors are more exciting to go down, right? Like, this is a really interesting layout. This one's also interesting. Now, the reason why this actually feels more interesting is because we actually do have another step in here that's trying to prevent things like this from happening. And that's actually in step 3. So over here, so you got pass 1, which is the actual layout of the tomb. Pass 2, which is checking to see if rooms are too blocky. So this basically just goes in and it just says, hey, if I can look at a specific chunk of rooms and if there is not a break for X number of times, then it's too blocky. Go back to the first step and reorganize. But the biggest reason why we needed to redo it is not because it wasn't generating corridors, because obviously it was. It was generating corridors every now and then, which is fine. And like even like the blocky ones, not the end of the world, because like they are kind of far and few. It's really not the end of the world. Like if we wanted to keep with this current generation, really not that bad. Really not that bad. The problem is, and if I were to sit here and if I were to keep refreshing this again and again and again, after roughly 100-ish times, we would run into an issue where it just was no longer, there would be a part that just wasn't connected. And that was the problem with this version 1.0. Not only just the fact that, like, more often than not, it was blocky, but every now and then you would get it to the point where it just would create two sections, like this one, just kind of boring. But it would create two sections of the tower and you could not get to the second section. So that was the biggest reason for us needing to create version 2.0. So if we come back over here to 2.0, you should see a slight difference in the actual generation. Again, it is going to be very slight, but I feel like you're going to more often get these long corridors that just, I guess that is still kind of blocky right there, isn't it? I don't know. Again, the biggest thing that we were trying to fix was not necessarily the blockiness, and I know that I literally just sat here talking it up, and now I'm like, that part doesn't really matter. The biggest thing is this hopeful new generation should not ever create an unnavigable floor layout. That's the hope anyway. I guess I could sit here and refresh it again and again and again and see if we ever run into an unnavigable one, but I think it shouldn't be a problem. I hope. But the bright side of all of this is that we should be able to find, I'm trying to think like the best way to describe this. We should be able to find any flaws with it as we continue testing. Because even with version 1.0, I did not find the flaw of it every so often, like every 100 or so times generating. I never found that flaw while I was just doing the initial testing. I was like, hey, this thing's working perfectly every single time. Everything's connected. Because the initial issues we were running into with random tomb generation was you would have like these random one-off rooms down here or over here where it's like it would generate the directions, and maybe it's even, I think I might even need to redo it. I wonder if I change, like we technically should be able to change basically one little thing. If I change this to be 2 to 5, and we change this to be like 5 to 10, I think that should make it more corridory. Probably too corridory, but definitely more corridory. So maybe we even go, wow, that's a rough one. But we could technically go with something like this. If we wanted to go more corridory. It's a thought, it's an idea. Every now and then you still get ones like that, but anyway, I think the random tomb generation, I think that should be able to put us in a better spot. I think. I hope. I really hope so. Yeah. Because again, at the end of the day, the biggest thing is just making sure that it is completely navigable, that there's no broken off parts. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's see here. I did have issues with big blocks like that too. Yeah, it is kind of a weird thing to try and get away from, but I'm hoping that we can get away from it with this. Man, game dev at Twitch is inspiring me to get back into learning Bevy. You should. You absolutely should, 100%. I also want to learn Dwarf Fortress at some point. Bought it and never got around to learning it. I have actually never played that game. It looks a lot of fun, and I would absolutely love to. One of these days, maybe. Have you thought about doing a pass where if you have a long corridor, like say 3, you will see it as a corridor instead of a bunch of doors? I have thought about it. It was going to be too much work. So So funny you should bring that up, actually. Let me pull up this project really quickly. So I have it saved in Photoshop. I was messing around. This was a while ago. Let's see, it was the Tavnu rooms or new Tav room, new rooms. I think it might have been new rooms. I'm just looking through through different projects really quickly. Room 1, room 2, room 3. Okay, so it wasn't this one. Not this one. Open. I guess we can just pull up Tav rooms new. I think this was another one I was working. Okay. Yeah, so basically, let me pull this over. So I did consider not having it all just be room based. So I've actually created all of the walls to be able to do that. So this would be like a room, like basically a dead end, right? But I've also set it up to the point where like we could have, let's see. Okay, so I need to remember all the layers here. So we could have it be, if we show, or if we get rid of center. So yeah, we could have something like this where it's like, this would be the room you're in. This would be the next room. And you can kind of see over into this room over here. You know, we could change it up and be like, okay, well, let's get rid of that one. And then if we get rid of, I guess we'd get rid of that. Yeah, so that one way it would mean like you're in a hallway, then it kind of opens up into a larger room. We could do stuff like, oh, that's the floor, farther one. I mean, we could have it be like if you were just in a very large room, like up against this wall right here. There's a large room. It's like I did look into this where it's like you could see, so it would basically be, you know, this would be, so if I do this, yeah, so basically this would be the room you're in. This would be the room in front of you. This would be the room to the front right, just to the right of you, kind of a thing. So I had thought about it. The problem is that the way that I have built all the systems, I haven't allowed for it to show monsters or items or traps in this room or this room or this room. It only is taking into consideration what's in the room you're currently in. So as much as I really would love to set up a system like this where it's like you can actually see, and like, you know, like say for example, like you were saying, where it's like if you are in a corridor and it's, you know, the next 2 or 3 rooms are just straight rooms, you know, could it do something like that? And like absolutely, like I've set it up to be like this where it's like you know, you can see the room you're in, the next room, and then like you can see like, okay, beyond that is just darkness, and I need to continually progress forward to see what's actually going to be happening in there. So I have thought about it. It is something that I want to make, but I think with the current way that Tomb of Vercilias works, it just doesn't. I would basically have to reconstruct like almost the entirety of how the items, the monsters, the spawning, and everything like that works. So would it be possible? The answer is yes. Do I want to do it? The answer is yes. Is it something that would set the project back quite a ways just because I would have to rebuild so much of the core systems? Unfortunately, also yes. So it is something that I do want to do. I think it might be on the next Tomb of Vercilias project that I do, depending on if we're going to do kind of like the same approach of like a first-person perspective dungeon crawler. I think it would be a lot of fun to do something like this. If I'm being completely honest, though, if I do another first-person dungeon crawler, I almost feel like I'm going to try and build it in an actual 3D engine. So this wouldn't have to be faked, essentially, because that's kind of what we're having to do. We're just having to, like, fake this perspective, essentially. If you had to make a guesstimate, how long till demo, and how long till you play Sky Children of Light? How long till demo? I am hoping in the next, like, 2 months. That is my hope. That is my goal. I'm not going to say that it is going to happen in the next 2 months, but that is my hope. Like, in the next couple months, I want to have the demo ready to go. Even if it's just I'm uploading it to itch, and people can play it on itch, and we can, like, work through the last couple bugs, and then we throw up, like, maybe I throw, like, an alpha on itch, and then people can kind of play through it, find the bugs, find the issues, and then we would throw the beta onto Steam. And then I'll kind of, like, push updates to itch first, And then if things go well on itch, then I would package it and update the beta on Steam. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. So even if like in the next 2 months, things are just not feeling like I would want to put it on Steam at this point as like a demo, then maybe we would just be like, here's an alpha on itch, go play it if you want, see what you can break, and then we'll fix things along. So that's the hope. That is the hope. What about 2 to 3? Oh, for the movement? Yeah, we could actually absolutely give that a shot. You and I just realized I also need to change this. So if we change this to 2 to 3 and then change this to 2 to 3, I mean, this only technically happens once, but it still could maybe make things not look great. Yeah, so I feel like 2 to 3 kind of starts getting back more into like the blocky territory, which isn't the end of the world. Again, the great thing too is that I could also change these. I could link these random values to other variables, and so on the fly I could adjust how the tomb is being, you know, essentially generated, to the point where I could just say, hey, there are going to be some floors that are more corridor-esque, like this. And then there could be some floors that are more blocky-esque, like this. Where like there's literally, okay, I guess there are some corridors, like much more blocky like this. So yeah, it is definitely something that I could set up to the point where we could change it on the fly, and so each floor could be more or less one shape or another. Yeah. Yeah. We could also change like the direction as well. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, so let's set this. I think I like 4 to 7. I feel like 4 to 7 should be good. Let's look at 4 to 7, just kind of see how that looks and feels. Yeah, sure. I feel like it puts us roughly into the same vein as we were on version 1.0. But again, biggest thing with this is just making sure that it never disconnects from, you know, what it's actually generating. Which is why I really wanted to be able to, you know, figure out exactly, like, watch it actually generate. And I know there is a way. I just cannot get it working for some reason. Like, it's always starting in position 1. I wanted to switch up, you know? I guess I could technically do the 370. What would 370 be? 370 is... RTG pick X start. Picture Y start. Okay. So I need to keep those. 370. Then 368. What is 368? Is RTG room Y. Uh-huh. Times 36. I think, actually, if we were to say 1022, I think what we could do is actually take all of this that we did for the procedural generation, copy that, come over here to version 2.0, and we show picture at We just get rid of all this. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work, and whatever. And then basically what we want to do is we want to replace anywhere where it says 100 with 367. 367? 366. It says 100. Just replace it with 366. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Hello, party people. Hello, Super Zach. Welcome. How you doing? How's life? I've returned. Internet started lagging and zoned out a bit. Last internet, but I'm glad you're back. Fair enough. You would have to scan the room ahead. Yeah, and that's where it's like, yeah. So I would like to. But you would also need to add directions for the player, etc. True. Godot, I very well may use Godot on the next one. Man, I really need to learn Bevy. Godot is a Godoted engine, is what I've heard. I've heard some great things about it, Zach. I'm going to recreate the Doom-style visuals in Godot soon, even though I don't need to. You 100% absolutely should. Honestly, that would be like my biggest reason for using Godot or something like that, is because I want to be able to create a fantasy-style dungeon crawler with the aesthetic of Doom. I think it'd be so much fun. Just like gritty, gory, hardcore dungeon crawling action. I think it'd be fun. I know there are some games like that already, but I want to make my own, so sue me. Agreed, Godot is fantastic. I'm gonna play some Minecraft before bed. Coding is too hard. That's fair. That is fair, Cameron. I just tried it out because my current platform is setting itself on fire. Very easy to learn and make games in. Yeah, I probably should. I should at least give it a try, you know? I started on Unity, but tried out Godot, and man, it's so much easier to use and lets me do so much more. See, I have tried Unity and I've tried Unreal, and both of those just... Like Unreal, I made a project where I could spawn in, I could pick up objects, and I could put them down. And that's all I got it to do. Unity, I did a little bit more. I learned how to... I made like a whole map. I learned how to create like transitions from one map to the other, so like you could go inside a building. I started learning how to make dialogue. That was kind of fun. And after a while, I was just like, no, this is not for me. Would it be better to have a variable? A variable for... Wait, a variable for what? So I'm not too worried about this thing right here, mostly because this is just going to be there for testing purposes. And so like I don't necessarily need it to be anything fancy. If so, I definitely would do more variable. A variable for the 100 you are replacing. Oh, that is a variable actually. So 100 is the variable ID that it's referencing. Because yeah, so in RPG Maker, you have to use IDs. You cannot use like the actual variable name. You have to say game variables dot value and then in parentheses 100, and then it's referencing variable ID 100. It's not great. It's not great at all. So yeah, so I'm basically replacing variable 100 with variable 366. So it is a variable, but it is a variable ID, which is again like not great. Unity Unreal Unreal isn't bad per se, just a matter of having the right tool for the right job. True. Well, and since I'm more of like a hobbyist anyway, like maybe if I was doing this full time and I was getting paid to do this, maybe I would take the time to learn a Unity or a Unreal Engine. But I feel like if I were to take a step out of RPG Maker, I feel like Godot is like the one that I've heard the most good things about. So let's see how this works. Let's see if it actually does anything. Oh. Okay. Well, that is doing stuff. Very slow, but it is doing stuff. So that's kind of cool to see. What if I set you to be like 15 frames? And I know this is overkill and I don't need to do this, but I kind of want to do this. I want to say, game screen, move picture, that picture. We don't need to show the name anymore. X, Y, 100, 100, 255, 0, 0. What if I just do like 125, 125? Oh, wait. 15 frames. Kind of general idea. I actually did that right. That way you can like watch where it's going, you know? Which is kind of cool, honestly. If I'm being completely honest, I kind of like being able to see where it's going. Let's go like 150. And then what if we set this to like 10 frames instead of 15? It should go by a little bit faster. But now we can actually watch where it's going, how it's generating. And as you can see, like it still kind of gets stuck in these loops. And then it picks new directions to go. Oh, jeez. How many rooms has it generated now? I feel like this is actually breaking things. What was rooms generated? Looks like it did a diagonal there. It kind of did. Number of rooms 365. Where's variable 365? Currently equal to 7. 5. Number of rooms, 23. Okay, it's definitely doing... Okay, what is happening here? What? What did I do? Like, what? Why? Why? Why is it that if I get rid of this... it generates it just fine. But then if I do this... Let's even just set this to be like 5 frames. I am so confused. Why does that break it? What? It's literally just showing a picture. Huh? Huh? I am so very confused as to why... Does it have anything to do with, like, the room pick ID, 367? I think it shouldn't. 'Cause it feels like it's just continuously looping. 4 through 7, 4 through 7. $66. $365. Yeah, it's just increasing room pick ID by 1. Well, everybody, your guess is as good as mine. I don't get why just showing the pictures early breaks it. But it's kind of fun to watch. This type is not a function. Really? No kidding. You broke? I never saw that coming. Like, you're setting 367 to equal 50. Does anywhere else change 367? Like, nothing else changes it. Nothing else relies on it. So I am so confused. Like, even still, what if I just, like, get rid of you? Is even that just... So why is showing and moving pictures breaking it? Get rid of the wait? Is the wait time breaking it? What? Why? Okay, well... What if we just add, like, one frame here? This type is not a function. It looks really cool for, like, 2 seconds while it's kind of generating. Oh, dear. Okay, well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. That is very, strange, I will say. I am just baffled. Absolutely baffled. Let's see here. Unity Unreal isn't bad per se. Oh, yeah. That is like what you have to do in Games Factory as well. You have alterable value A. Renaming things came in later versions. Yeah, it's kind of wild. Because here's also the thing, too, with variables in RPG Maker. So you have a variable database here, right? And you can name the variables. Like, you can actually give them a name, an identifier. But you cannot use that identifier. Like, you can't just say, you know, const or var or set RTG picture X start. You have to say game variables.value 370. For some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. But, yeah, so that's how it works. Now, I will say, some random dev created an absolutely fantastic plugin that does allow you to tap into the names of the variables. I've just done it this way for so long that I have a hard time switching to actually referencing them by their names. So that's on me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, good times. Yeah, because Unity and Unreal are usually like the big buck engines where professionals and AAA games are made true. I actually really liked Unity, and I still think it's a pretty good engine, but the runtime charge thing made me leave it behind, and I'm still working on the project I started back then. I feel like that made a lot of, especially indie devs, leave. I know that they have like long gone back on that, but it did make a lot of people leave, that's for sure. Looks like it did a diagonal there. Just checking in. How's it going? It is going absolutely fantastic. How you doing, Ink? We're making, actually, technically, we are done now with the random generation. It is working, and it randomly generates a new layout. That one looks horrible. There we go. That's better. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it should not ever generate a random layout that will ever be broken. I hope. It will technically create some less interesting layouts, I will say, little less interesting, but it shouldn't ever create one that is completely unfinished or unnavigable or anything like that. And that is the battle we set out to fix. And I'm hoping, because like we've refreshed this now, like what are we on now? Maybe like the 50th time or something like that. So there is still a chance. There's still a chance that maybe one of these times we'll pull this back up and it'll be like, oh, yep, that's broken. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That one's actually really cool. I like how every single one of these like lines up perfectly. And it's all, oh my gosh. Okay, see, you go from that to that. Where it's like, it's not necessarily bad, but it's just not as interesting as the other one before. That one's fine. That one's pretty cool. I like that one. That one's interesting enough to walk around and explore. Yeah. I like it. Now I wonder. Okay, so I think we're probably just going to get past not doing the whole random generation thing because it seems to just be breaking it for some reason. I don't know why. Moving the RTG snake. People stayed away from it because of the principle of the thing, I think. True. Yeah, it honestly is like, it's kind of disgusting, honestly, that they would even try to do that. So, like, because I have had some people come back and tell me, they'll be like, well, you know, they went back on it forever ago. It's fine. It's like, well, the fact that they thought they could get away with that, that's where, like, I draw the line. And the fact that I don't know how to use it. But aside from that, that's where I draw the line. And what's stopping them from trying again? Exactly. Exactly. It's like, if they tried to do it once, they're going to try and do it again, but in a much more sneaky way. How easy would it be to just build your levels by hand? So, funny you should mention that. That's actually how I was doing it in the very beginning. Before I went through and made all of this to randomly generate the tomb, I was doing it by hand. And I made 3 levels by hand. And, yeah. So if I come over here and I pull up, I believe it's a map. I may have gotten rid of it, actually. Yeah, I think I got rid of them. Don't know where they would be at. I think I put them elsewhere. Oh, hey, look at that. I actually exported all of these because I was going to try and make these work. Yeah, these were all the different directions for the rooms that I had created to hopefully make it so I could create the rooms like this. Never actually got them to work. Never really took the time, but never got them to work. Yeah, I think if I go over to that's downloads, documents, RPG Maker, no, games, Vercilias, images, pictures, old assets, a room, no, map. There we go. Yeah, so these were my maps that I hand drew. So again, I only made 3 of them. So this was map 1. You started in this room right here. And yeah, basically the way that I had to do this is over here. And I still have the 3 rooms that I had created originally. So dungeon 1 spawn. I was going to go through, I was going to create like 50 hand-drawn maps, and it was going to randomly select from like 10, maybe 15, however many floors I thought the tower was going to have. I was going to handpick like 10, maybe 15 of them, and it would randomly pick them so that it would hopefully feel random enough. Like maybe you would recognize some eventually, like if you played the game enough. But then basically I had to come in here and I would say, okay, we want to spawn a minimum of 20 items on this floor, and I want to spawn a maximum of 20 monsters on this floor. And then I had to go through. So here's the thing with RPG Maker. The way that I'm doing these things, it is not meant to run like this. I am not really using any of the built-in movement, combat, or anything like that at all. Everything is basically being custom made. And so to do the movement, I essentially had to take the different rooms. So if I come in here, I guess it'd be room. Basically, there are 15 room shapes. There's room 1, which means you can go south. Room 2, you can go west. Room 3, you can go north. Room 4, you can go east. Room 5 is you can go south and north. Room 6, you can go west to east, so on and so forth, right? And so essentially what I had to do was it was taking into consideration the IDs of 1 through 15. And those IDs would let me know what direction could I move. And so then over here, I would then say, okay, I can't move south, west, or north. I can only move east. And so to make that work in the engine that I'd set up, I would say, okay, room 2 layout equals 4. Because 4, the ID of 4 is, if I come over, I guess it'd be over here. Yeah, because room 4 is where you can move to the right. You can move east. And I'd say, cool, that's that room. Now, room number 3 is layout 8, because layout 8, you can move west and north. And I had to go through and do every single one of these rooms and be like, okay, this one you can move west, east, south. Okay, so that would be ID 13. Okay, this room over here, you can move north, south, east, and west. So you're going to be ID 15. And I literally just went through, and every single room that you could go into, I had to assign it an ID so that in my movement script, it would then check the room you were in if you tried to go left. And if it had an ID of 8, it knew that was a wall, and so it wouldn't let you go left. So, yeah. That's how I was doing it originally. And again, I did it for 3 rooms, and that's what I would do, is I would set it up like that. And then I believe, yes, so then at that point, though, I did try to get some randomization in there, which is basically I made it create the exit in a room randomly. So you couldn't just be like, oh, this is this floor, the exit's over here. It would randomly pick an exit. And so I did take that into account. I did do some randomization there, especially like with the item and the monster generation. I did try to like do the randomization there. And then after a while, I was like, you know what? This needs to have actual random generation. I was like, it can't have it not. So yeah, so that's when I made this. And it took me about 3 weeks to get this thing working correctly with, again, like the whole back end that I have. And I eventually got it working. And now we're on version 2.0. And it's working even better. So anyway, so the answer, I did get a system down to where I could manually create the levels by hand. It would kind of be a nightmare now that I have the whole random generation working. To get everything re-implemented into that old system would be a bit of a nightmare. But it is possible. And that is how I used to do it back in the day. Okay, back to watching my VODs. Ink, thank you so much for being here. Good luck. Good luck with your VODs. Could you have had the doors as overlays? Yes, and that is actually what I'm doing now. So now I have it. So that is the old stuff right there. So now the way that I have it, if I come over to Documents, GitHub, Tomb of Vercilias, Images, Pictures. So now the way that I have this thing working is if I go to Room. So basically, this is the base room. Like this is what it actually shows. And then I have the doors that then show over that room. So it's still kind of similar to how it was before, but I'm just showing the doors on top of the wall. The reason why I did it this way, though, was for the decorations. Was because I have decorations that show, like say, for example, these mossy bricks, or the torches, or the cracks in the bricks, the vines. There are vines somewhere around here. There we go, the vines. So the reason why I have the doors is because, like, say, for example, this vine right here, this would be covering a door if it were just showing the walls and the decorations on top of the walls, which also had to happen to be the doors. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because there are now 3 layers that it utilizes. It utilizes the room itself, which is just the floor and the 4 walls. And then the next layer up is the decorations, like, say, for example, the vines. And then it shows the doors on top of that. So, like I said, again, there would be those vines that would be showing on top of these doorways. These doorways right here would have a vine growing on top of it. But if I show the doors above the decorations, it then covers those things, so I don't have to like make specific decorations for specific shapes of rooms and all that. So the reason why I'm doing it this way, though, because again, I know that you're probably going to look at this and just be like, well, why wouldn't you just use this one, this one, this one, and this one to then recreate this and 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 this? The reason being is because RPG Maker has RPG Maker MV has a very limited amount of pictures you can show on the screen at once. It is actually, you can only show by default 100 pictures on the screen at once. And with the way that I've set up this game, it is using all of those and now then some. Thanks to an absolutely fantastic plugin by some random dev. And so, yeah. So I set it up this way originally just because of that, because of the limitations. So anyway, all that to say, yeah, that's what we got. So again, I did set it up manually before. I was gonna try and advertise as like handcrafted dungeon layouts, and then I was like, what if I can just get it to randomly generate close to what I would have made handcrafted dungeons to look like? And well, not all of these are gonna look exactly like handcrafted dungeons. I feel like they're close enough to where it should be all right. I hope. Sounds like you're doing my challenge, but in a modern engine. A little bit, but yeah, it's well, more modern than the engine you're using. I wouldn't necessarily say RPG Maker MV is a modern engine. This thing is 11 years old now. I think it came out in 2015. RPG Maker MV release date 2015. October 23rd, 2015. So yeah, so it's going to be 11 years old this year. That's crazy. But definitely not as old as the engine you're using. Your engine can legally rent a car. So, you know. It's not that old. Yeah, exactly. Comparatively, not that old. But technically, RPG Maker as a whole, when did the first RPG Maker come out? I think it came out in 1995? 1992! Oh my gosh. The first RPG Maker software, RPG Tsukuru Dante 98, was released by ASCII in December 17th, 1992 in Japan for the NEC PC 9801 computer. Established the series' foundational tools that have followed with RPG Maker 95, which came out in 97. Why would you call it RPG Maker 95 if it came out in 97? But also, why would you call it RPG Tsukuru Dante 98 if it came out in 92? Like, come on, guys. Think about this. Ah, good times. Good times. But now I wonder, what did it look like? Oh, that's not it. I want to know, what did it look like? Ah, that's the one. Yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh! Get out of here! Get out of here, ads! Get out of here, cookies! Get out of here! I need to get an ad block on this thing. Holy smokes, this is bad. I feel like I'm getting... Never mind, I was gonna say I'm getting pounded from all sides. That's just a weird analogy. Oh. Just look at how classic that looks. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I want it so bad now. I want to use whatever this was called. Okay, that is definitely a more modern game. That is... should I be looking at some of these pictures? I didn't realize how sketchy some of these were going to be. Okay, that is definitely the original. Yeah. Tsukuru Dante 98. Classic. Anyway, yeah, good times. Because it came out on the PC 90. Actually, that's smart. Good point. My engine is over 30 years old. They can run for office. That's true. Do you have to be 30 to run for office? I could run for office. The first one was on the Super Nintendo because it came out on the 98. I thought the first one was on the SNES, but I guess it was a port. Yeah, so the console version is actually, I'm pretty sure is actually a completely different company even. I don't know how it works. I think, do not quote me on this, I'm pretty sure that the original like RPG Maker that came out on consoles, it was made by a completely different developer than who made like the actual RPG Maker that we know today series. I mean, even technically the company that's making them now is a completely different company. So ASCII was the like original PC RPG Maker, and they made the whatever it was that we were just talking about. They made RPG Maker 95, they made RPG Maker 2000 and 2003, and then I believe they got bought out by a company called Enterbrain or Enterbrain. I think it's Enterbrain. They got bought out by Enterbrain or taken over, like whatever it was. And then Enterbrain released RPG Maker XP, and I think VX and VX Ace, and then I believe Katakawa and Gotcha Games took over for MV, MZ, and all the other ones they've made nowadays. So, yeah. Again, do not quote me on that. That is not a actual history lesson right there. I could very well be extremely incorrect in all of that. So, do not write your essays on all of that. Okay, should I even try to keep this thing? I feel like I want to, but I don't know if I should. You know? Like, I almost wonder. We've got this loop here. What if I put it in the very beginning of the loop? What happens? Yeah, it still just breaks. I have no idea how or why this is breaking. It makes literally no sense. No sense at all. I just finished a canal across an island in my Minecraft world. That is a huge accomplishment. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. I'm super proud of you. Raise a glass, I would say. Is it all filled with water now? I mean, I would hope so if it's a finished canal. I would hope so. Yeah, I just literally no idea. It should just be referencing values. It should not be setting anything in here. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But again, I'm pretty sure if I get rid of this... Oh my goodness!
Welcome Sumrandev and your 4 amazing audience members.
Sumrandev, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate that. Welcome everyone. I'm glad you're here. We are breaking things. It's so much fun. So much fun. It's a blast, actually. It's an absolute blast. How'd the rest of your stream go, Sumrandev? I'm sorry for the derailment mid-stream for you, but I had to. I had to derail you. We live in a 3D world. We absolutely 100% live in a 3D world. Last time I checked, it is still a 3D world. 100%. But that's an issue for future me. Wait, what's an issue? There is a rough patch where my coconut boat breaks. Oh, yeah, that's not good. That is not good at all. That's an issue for future me. Sumrandev is... Never mind. I've come back for you. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming back for me. I do appreciate that. Welcome. How'd the rest of your stream go? Hopefully things went well for you. We have technically gotten the random gen fixed again. Except for I'm trying to have it spawn the map as it creates the map, and for some reason it's breaking it. And I don't know why. It's supposed to show me how it's supposed to be drawing the map, and it just... I don't know how it's this broken. Here's the thing. If I remove just this little bit right here that's actually drawing the map in real time, if I do this, it draws it just fine. Everything's fine. It just generates. Everything's fine. No worries. But it's when it's trying to draw in real time. I don't know why it doesn't. I honestly have no idea why it's doing it like that. So I don't know. Anyway, I made progress. That's absolutely fantastic to hear. Always love hearing when you make some progress. Very nice. Very nice. Is it going to be progress that on the next stream I'll be able to notice? Or is it more back-end stuff? I'll have to let stream run for an hour extra. Not bad. That is not bad. FYI, Sumrandev is coming back for me. Cameron, quick hide. Keep your head down. WDF. Weather looks sick. What? Yeah, well, I mean, you know. Well, because it's randomly generating here. And so I was like, I would like to see what it looks like as it goes through and generates. And so I have no idea what's breaking it. So it should literally just be showing pictures and then adding one to a variable that has nothing to do with any of this stuff in here. None of this stuff even remotely relies on... Wait a minute. What if it's something else later? I don't know.
Turns Moonman into a chicken.
I'm a chicken. I'm a chicken, everybody. Bok bok. Bok bok bok. Bok bok.
Cameron Reap wants Moonman to do 10 chest benders. Oh boy.
We got chest benders? What else we got coming up? Oh!
Cameron Reap wants Moonman to do 10 bicep curls.
And of course, it's not the trifecta without the complete trifecta right here. The good
Cameron
old
Reap just redeemed
stretch. Aw, yeah. Anyway, yeah, definitely is just a debug thing. And yeah, that's where I'm just like, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. Very bizarre stuff. But yeah. So I wanted to watch what it generated in real time. And this is technically what it is generating in real time. But I don't know why, literally, like... Again, not quite sure what it is that's happening. I don't know. I don't know why just adding... Because literally all it is it's showing a picture, and then it's moving a picture, and then it's changing the room picture ID so that it actually shows and moves the proper picture. And that's it. That is literally all it is doing. But for some reason, that just like gets it stuck in loops, and I have no idea. No idea what it is in here that would be breaking so much with it. So anyway, yeah, good times. So I don't technically need this to be in there anymore. I can just get rid of that, and then it works just fine. So I may just keep it out of there. But anyway, yeah. So I got version 2.0 working again. So yeah, I'm sure that you remember on the last stream we were working on the random tune, the procedural generation for the random tomb generation. And we were making progress, right? If you remember from last time, we were making progress. But we were running into problems, and I spent some time on it over the weekend, and I couldn't get it working quite right. So we ran into a new problem. Because if you remember from the last stream, we were getting it to the point where if you ever spawned on the sides here, every now and then it would spawn a direction that you could go outside the boundaries. Every now and then. I finally got that working. I think. I finally got it fixed, but then I ran into a new issue. I ran into the issue where if I were to make a tight enough circle and go in circles like this, I could eventually close myself into a loop. Because say, for example, if it had spawned me right here, and it would randomly pick and be like, okay, this room, there's only going to be one direction you can go. And it's like, all right, cool. Well, if I go up, then, it would spawn the next room, and then I'd be like, okay, cool, where can I go? And it would just be like, okay, this one has two directions. You can go down, and you can go left. And I'd be like, all right, cool. Then I would go to the left, and I'd be in this room, and I'd be like, all right, cool. This one also has two directions. You can go to the right, or you can go down. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'd go down, and then it'd be like, all right, cool. This one has two directions. You can go up, and you can go right. And it would lock me in a loop. And I had that happen several occasions, actually. I had one once where it literally was like, it took me, I'm trying to remember the exact shape, but it took me in like this sort of a shape, and then eventually just like closed back over here. And so it was literally just a loop where it was just like, you can go here, 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 here. I'm like, cool. So glad that it locked me off. So anyway, so the procedural generation, I just kept running into issue after issue after issue after issue. I'm just like, well, okay. And so I gave up. I was like, we're done. We're going back to the drawing board. So I went back to the drawing board, and I asked myself, I was like, okay, what is the ultimate issue here? The ultimate issue was, it would start spawning rooms with the old generation. It would be going through spawning rooms, spawn, whatever. And then eventually it would be to the point where, like, because the way that I had set up where is if it ever backtracked on itself on a room that was already generated, it could only do that like 5 or 6 times before it eventually couldn't go onto that spot anymore, and then it would pick a new random starting point somewhere on the map. And so say, for example, maybe it would come here and be like, okay, spawn, it would reconnect over here, spawn, and then it would start backtracking on itself, and then eventually be like, okay, you're out of moves, you've backtracked too many times, respawn again. And then here's where the issue would be. It would then be like, okay, cool, well, I'm going to spawn right here. And it would go, okay, spawn, and then eventually it'd be like, okay, well, I've spawned 40 rooms. That's all the rooms this floor can have. We're done. And that was it. And then the player would be, spawn over here and be like, all right, cool. Let's go here. Let's go here. And you'd start branching out your path. And then eventually you'd be like, wait a minute. I've explored every single room here and I haven't found the exit. Where's the exit? Oh, the exit. It's right here. Oh, the mini boss? Yeah, that's right here. But you can't get to it. So that was the ultimate problem. And I'm like, okay, how are we going to correct that? And then I realized, I'm like, why didn't I do this in the very beginning? It just makes so much more sense to have done it this way. So basically the solution that we just finished and we have, I think, working, fingers crossed, is, it'll start going spawn. But instead of saying, hey, if you backtrack on yourself X number of times, you're out. Instead of saying that, it's literally just wherever you start spawning, you can only move 4 to 5 times in that one direction. So say, for example, if it, the starting point is right here and say, okay, the direction is going to be down and you get to move down 4 times. You'll say, okay, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Move down 4 times. That's it. You're done. Start a new spawn. But the problem was, in my original spawn, is to say, okay, cool, start a new spawn. We're going to spawn right here, and we're going to pick a direction of left. So you'd go left and be like, okay, we hit a wall. Start a new spawn. All right, we're going to spawn here. We're going to pick a direction of down. And you could potentially run into issues where, you just have a bunch of these random lines that don't connect at all. And then eventually it'd be like, okay, you have 40 rooms. And it's like, cool, I have 40 rooms where only 2 of these things are actually connected and everything else is just off on their own. So the fix that I implemented was I basically said, hey, when it's time for you to start anew, you have to start within a room that is already spawned. So it'd be like, okay, we're going to start here and we're going to go left. 1, 2, 3, we hit a wall. Okay, now we have to start anew. We're going to start here. We're going to go right. 1, 2. And basically that's how it's working. So it's basically, it has to go into a room that already exists. I don't know why I didn't do that from the start. It makes so much more sense to do that. I don't know why that didn't hit me to do earlier, but that is how we're doing it now. So that way, literally every single time it has to be connected to a room. And I've told it to only go in a single direction, because before, with the random generation on version 1.0, it could randomly pick a new direction anytime. So it could be like, okay, move up. And then be like, okay, never mind, move down. Now move up. Now move left. Now move right. Now move down. Now move right. And at this point, it's just, no, you have one direction you can move. You have to move in that direction the entire time until eventually you've used your 3, 4, 5, however many movement of direction you have. And then you have to start anew in a new room. So that is a solution we've come up with. And it seems like it is working. I've refreshed this we're probably on refresh 70, 75 now-ish. And we haven't had a broken layout yet. Some are less interesting than others, I will say, but technically none of them have broken yet, which is good. That is a step up from where we were before, and it is very easy to just come in here and change things. So we could say, hey, number of rooms. We're going to say this floor is only going to have 20 rooms. We come over here and we say, cool, you've got 20 rooms. And there you go. That is a very boring looking floor. Oh dear. Okay, that one's kind of broken because it just didn't generate anything. But when it actually generates things, it's fine. Totally fine. Creates weird shapes, though, sometimes. See? Weird spawn issues here. I don't know why that would be the case. It definitely gets stuck. Oh, okay, so this is not technically an issue. This is another issue. This is trying to spawn the mini boss room, I think. So this is this variable right here that you can see kind of trying to find a room to put it in, but it can't find a room for some reason. And I know that, and I have identified where that issue is, because if I come down here, you will find a comment somewhere. There we go. This is where spawning gets stuck in a loop, and I need to fix it. So somewhere in here, there's some condition here that is just not passing, and I need to figure out why. And I still don't know what it is. I'll diagnose that later. Anyway, so all that to say, I think we should be good here. And I'm not going to go with 20. 20 is way too... We're going to go with 40. 40 rooms, and then we should also be able to say... I mean, we could even up this and say, hey, the movement directions, you're going to move 10 and 10. 10 and 10. This one, it should make it more corridor-esque. Corridory. Yeah. A little more corridory. More often than not, it feels corridory, which is fine. You know, I'm actually kind of thinking maybe we leave this at 10. Yeah, because you're seeing this now. Like every now and then, like that one is very corridory. Holy smokes, that's just literally a bunch of hallways. But if you change it, and if we go from a 10 to 10, if we go with a 1 to 1, it's going to be very blocky. Now, every now and then, it could make corridors, but it's going to be a much more blocky layout. More often than not, it's going to be a very blocky feeling. Because it can literally only move one block, and then it has to respawn. And then one block, and it has to respawn. And then one block, and it has to respawn. So, you know. The random generation also takes just slightly longer, because it takes longer for it to go back and regenerate itself every time. Whereas if you have it be able to move more often, then it doesn't take as long because it's got a longer way to go. Yeah, so I think we're going to go with 10 and 10. I think 10 and 10 is good. We might change it a little bit, maybe go with like 8 and 10, just to add like a slight more variety. But I do like it to feel a little bit more... Okay, those were terrible examples. A little more corridor-esque. So anyway, yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's see, is that animation just for debugging? That's so cool. Yeah, definitely just debugging. And if I could get it to work, it would be really cool. But for some reason, I still have no idea why it's not. They replied to me. I come from Moonwood too. Fair. Yes, you will be able to punch trees next stream. Yes! All I ever wanted in life. Wanted to punch trees and take names. Be warned, I make a lot of corny jokes and puns. That's all right. That is A-okay. Or at least walk up to them. Hey, I'll take what I can get. I will take what I can get. All right, I'm going to catch up on chat, and then we're going to do the trifecta now that it's been 11 minutes. I want to start streaming my progress on my spreadsheet program, but I guess will now not be a new shell script, but a Rust TUI. Ooh, I like that. And there's the trifecta. There it is. So I'm learning Rust now. Nice. What's with the squares in the venture? What's with the squares in the venture? Wait, what are you talking about? What squares? These squares? These squares? There's a lot of squares. You might have to be more specific about the squares. The night is nigh for me until Tuesday. Farewell. Oh, Cameron! I am so sorry. Well, I'm going to do the trifecta. I swear. I promise. We're going to do it. Cameron, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Hopefully you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your evening. And we will see you all in the... I'll see you in the Tuesday stream, I hope. Right there on the 6-7 square 42. That's the one right there. Right there. That's the one. Oof. It's so funny how we're basically doing the same thing. I had to do something similar for my pathfinding on stream today. Look at that. You're just doing a much more advanced method than I am. Summer Dev, I put your stream on my calendar. Hi, Marks, friend. Let's go. Try to stream when Moon doesn't, so together we can take up your whole week. Sunday is only exception. True. I just stream whenever I have time, which is hey. Nothing wrong with that. If you don't really have the opportunity to make a schedule, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Ooh, I love your solution. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Azera, welcome. Glad to see you here. Yeah, that's a lot like what I did, except I created new crawler objects. See, there you go. Yeah, the maps look fantastic. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's insane. You did this with events. No one said I was sane, all right? It's all events and pictures. It's good times. Such good time. Yeah, there's probably a much more efficient way that I could have done this. But hey, all the movement is still working, and that just makes me happy. So now at this point, I believe I should be able to just come in here, and if I wanted to, I could just say, map, just show these at 0. And there we go. You are now in a completely unexplored area, and you can now move around and explore and find all the cool little secrets that all this new random generation has to offer. You know, I'm actually kind of thinking about maybe leaving the map on, just so I can see the layouts more clearly, more easily, I guess you could say. Yeah. Maybe. I'm also kind of thinking, what if I come down here? So we've got, that's the map one. This is the loop. If I come over here, we've got the spawn monsters / items. I like how I have exit event processing down here when it's literally the end of the event. Okay, what if I do this? Label. Oh, not label. Comment. Show map with icons. If I just put that in there, and then I come over here and set this back to 50. What's going to happen? Can I actually show the whole thing with the icons? I'm so stupid. I forgot to change the opacity. You're still showing at 0. 255. What's going to happen? Who knows? We'll see.
Unknown_artist says, it has come to my attention that you ignore me saying hi. This is no way to treat your guests.
Did I ignore you saying hi? I don't remember that. I'm so sorry. Unless it's a message that I haven't caught up to yet. Because now I distracted myself by getting into this. Maybe I need to do more than just setting that to 50. Ah, there we go. I need to set it to 1. Okay. Set that to 1. That to that. Now that should fix that. Nope. How does it work in here? What's going on in here? Why does this show the map? That's all about the spawning things. Current snake location. I think I need to do more zeroing out of. Number of rooms equals 40. Room pick ID. What if I just also grab that too? I don't want to put too much more into this because I'm just like, there's not a whole lot of need for this. Okay, so it's showing all of the rooms now. But is it not? I thought for sure it would have all of the information about the rooms. So then we could then come in here. Because if we say, you know, room 1, you got item 42, which means there should be an item in here. There's got to be something else going on with actually being able to show the icons, you know? Updating Minnie Mouse icons? Did I just call it Minnie Mouse icons? Minimap icons. Updating Minnie Mouse. Oh my gosh. I keep saying Minnie Mouse. Minimap icons. You know, the Minnie Mouse icons. Let's see here. I like the 1 block maps since you have to pay attention to the map to see where the doors are. True. Might have a good late game dungeon. Yeah, and here's the thing too, is I could update a lot of the numbers on the fly too, and so I could change how the tower feels like the further you get, to the point where it's like towards the end of the towards the end, I could say like there's only going to be maybe 20 rooms, but they're like much crazier rooms or something. I don't know. Might make a good late game dungeon. Reminds me of the last dungeon in Zelda 1, where it's just a dense square, almost with complicated doors. Only connecting at certain parts. True. That's okay for me. I'm still here. Oh, that's true. Okay. Well then, we're gonna do that. Unknown artist. Hello, Mr. Moonwood. Are you still speaking? Hi, at some random. Yes, I am. But if this is where you were complaining that I didn't say hi to you, I finally got caught up. So unknown artist, don't even worry about it. I am here, and I'm saying hello to you. So hello, welcome, unknown artist. I'm glad you're here. I am so glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you, unknown artist. Thank you for being here. Welcome. I might start streaming, might not, but if I do, 4:30 PST Saturday. Ooh, that'd be nice. I'd say that's a good time. I'd say that is a good time to stream. This game looks so different since the last time I saw it. So much more polished now. I'm gonna take that as being serious, because I feel like you're joking. I feel like you're joking with me. I feel like you're joshing me right now. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about all this because it's as of right now, there's no reason for me to come in here and show the whole thing. And if I really needed to show the tomb, I would literally just come in here and I would just say, all right, this guy right here, just change this to 255. And we would get the layout. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I know that it was not a whole lot that happened. I guess I should probably change it. We can actually keep looking at that. Because that's the other thing, too, is I think what I want to do is I want to make this be... Yeah, I think I'm going to keep showing the map while testing, because I want to see. So here's the thing, and I know I said this before, but I used to think the version 1.0 was working just fine. I really did. I thought that it was working just fine, but it wasn't until like the 100th try that it finally stuck out to me that I was like, oh, this is a problem. It is all disconnected. So I think I'm going to keep showing the map, even though it's not how it's going to be in the game eventually. But I will keep showing the map just so I can kind of get a good idea of the random tomb generation and see if it ever breaks. Because if it ever breaks, then we need to come back and fix it. Now I think it's looking all right. I think it's looking all right. There's a better way to do the direction. Maybe. It's come to my attention that you ignoring me saying hi. This is true, your guess. The club is now 3. Club's now 3. I don't know what that means. Moon's message, Q is far behind. It's very far behind. Me when I turned into a purple twitch worm. My phone is trying to get me to sleep. Blasted phones. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to the phone. Yeah. It added a sleep widget to my home screen. Don't listen to it. Don't let it tell you what to do. AM or PM? PM, I should be groggy. Hell. I'd be out until 3 or 3:30, forced out of my house staff. My house staff. House staff? Oh, yeah. Moon Games, I started 3D modeling. Posted my first render in Discord. I live in a group home. Oh, that makes sense. That makes way more sense. I thought you had, like, servants. I was like, hold up now. I started 3D modeling. Posted my first render in Discord. I am taking a look. Which channel? Which channel did you post it in? I've got to go take a look now. Community projects? I feel like I'm so far behind in some spots. Art? Oh! I found it. Oh. Look at that guy. Look at those hills, those peaks and those valleys, those floating globs. That is beautiful. That is beautiful stuff right there. First thing I do when I release massive successful game is get servants. I can see that. It's very Brycey. Bryce. I don't know how to pronounce that. Going for an old CGI style. You honestly nailed it. Honestly, like this is giving me major. Oh my gosh, what was that? That 3D background. It wasn't Wallpaper Abyss. Wallpaper Abyss was the name of the website you could get them from. Oh my gosh, what were they called? All right, I gotta pull this up because I know that I get emails from the dude every now and then, and I'm sure that I have one. Where is it? I've got to have it, right? Wallpaper. And I know I've got to have. Oh wait, search my trash. I'm pretty sure that I threw some away. Trash. Wallpaper. Not Unsplash. What's the guy? He does the things. What is he? What is he? What is he? Yo, I'm pretty sure that they would all be in trash. So I usually look at them and then throw them away. Steam, Itch, Humble Bundle, Woot, Amazon. I know I'm going to get one tomorrow because I'm pretty sure he sends them out weekly. And I'm going to be like, oh, that's what it was called. He's going to drive me crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh, what is it called? Undo. And I'm not going to rest until I find this thing. I know that it's here. There's gotta be one. I swear I have one. Ryan Bliss? That's him, Ryan Bliss. Yes, Ryan Bliss. Okay, all right. Digital blasphemy. That's what it was. Digital blasphemy. If you have not ever seen Digital Blasphemy, that is what this is reminding me of. Very much so Digital Blasphemy. Let me in. Come on. I am a human. I swear. I am not a bot. Are you seriously not letting me into your website? Digital Blasphemy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you've never looked at Digital Blasphemy before, crazy good stuff. Yeah, so it's basically this guy just like 3D renders wallpapers and has been doing it for like 15, 20 years now. But the reason why I'm saying all of this, so if I come over here, wallpapers, gallery, if we go by year, and then we go all the way back to 1997. Yeah. It's like, obviously, like, this is all kind of more like, yeah, so it's like, if I look at this, and then I look at this, like, it's giving me those vibes. And it's very much so, it's very much reminding me of what this guy was making. So, yeah, honestly, beautiful, beautiful stuff. I think you nailed the vibe perfectly. Because, again, this was made in 1997, and so it's like, if you could recreate that feel from 1997, I would say you nailed it. Yeah, very beautifully done. Let's see. I'm talking applications right now, though. Wait. First thing to do, release. Oh yeah, servants. Going for old CGI look. I'm taking applications right now, though. All right. How about this? When you release your massive successful game, I will be the first to apply to be your servant. Brycey. Oh, okay. Looks like. I mean, I would not have ever known how to pronounce that. It looks like something that was made in Brycey. Okay. Brycey is an old 3D modeling tool. You are probably thinking of Brycey? Nope. I was thinking Digital Blasphemy, which maybe this guy did make it in Brycey. I don't know. Maybe. Or you could read the rest of the channel. I definitely will. There was an old program called Brycey 3D and that you could make trippy landscapes with. Started learning 3D modeling because I wanted to make 3D game, specifically in that CGI style. That would be really cool. If you want more details about my game idea, just tell me and I will start yapping. I want to know. Can you show me? I want to know about your 3D game idea, like me. Oh, someone in the Discord even commented on it. Wait, what are we talking about now? Who commented on what? Okay, yeah, okay. We will look at the rest of that. I was like, wait, did someone tell me the name of it before? Actually, I wonder how many people actually know about Digital Blasphemy. Like, these things were amazing back in the day. Like, I used so many of these as my wallpapers back in the day. Like, if we go to, let's see, what year would it have been? I mean, like, 1998. Again, like, this is looking very much so... this is looking very much so like what you had made. Why is that completely different? Sanctuary, and then it pulls up this one. I don't get it. Anyway, yeah, I feel like this is very much so like we got kind of going on. So keep it up. Now I'm like, okay, what year would it have been? It had to have been like 2005. I think this is getting closer. Yeah, some of these just they were on loop as my like desktop wallpapers back in high school, which is why I'm like, okay, it's got to be like 2002. Cobalt Daisy, I use that a lot. Something Blue. So many good ones. Oh, Newborn. Oh my gosh. This guy was cooking back in the day. Spellcraft. Oh. See, make a game that has this kind of vibe. I would play the crap out of it. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm not going to sit here and keep going down memory lane. But yeah, so anyway, Digital Blasphemy. If you have never seen Digital Blasphemy, highly recommend. Amazing stuff from this guy. He's been doing it for so long. Crazy stuff. And his newer stuff is absolutely wild. Like, it's crazy to see how he went from that to like making stuff that freaking looks so good now. Some of it looks very, like, you know, he still kind of leans into the whole craziness sometimes. Like, a lot of this, I'm just like, man, the fact that he like made this entire 3D scene. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful. Anyway, that is neither here nor there. Beautiful stuff on our artist. You did absolutely fantastic. I love it. I love it. And it's in Blender. So you go. Blender's even better. Let's see, what do we got, Cameron? What do we got? This bird boy is too cute not to reshare. True. True. That is a very cute looking bird boy right there. Very Brycey 3D like. Hey, nice, nice. That is a good looking pose right there. Top notch looking pose right there. Fantastic stuff. In fact, I'm gonna redraw the bird boy right now. Alberio is my fave design with his two-tone hair. It is a really good looking hair. Someone in Discord even commented on it. And rest assured, you will serve me. I shall pay you to stream 40 hours a week for free entertainment. You drive a hard bargain, but I'll do it. I'll do it. If you type Brycey 3D into Google, you will find pics of it. All right. Well, now I feel like I gotta. Should I do this on my main monitor? Maybe. Images. Oh, okay. I've definitely seen some of these. I like this kind of stuff. This stuff is very nostalgic looking for me. Oh yeah, LGR did a review on it. That's right. Good times, great times. Let's see here. Okay, we can close that. We can come back over here. Let's see here. So the best idea in the MC Escher painting with all those stairs, so the gravity will be consistently shifting, like Mario Galaxy. I also am taking lots of inspiration from LSD Dream Emulator and Enna Dream Barbecue. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting that comment to go very different. I was expecting to say I'm also taking lots of LSD because I saw the LSD part because it's, you know, all caps. And so I was like, maybe you shouldn't take a lot of LSD right before programming. Probably not the best idea. I guess I found a thing they liked doing and kept on doing it. I mean, it's true. It's true. And it seems like the dude makes a actual living from making the backgrounds, which I'm like, hey, if you could do that in today's day and age, like just making your living, making backgrounds, I'd do it. I'd do it 100%. Basically the entire, let's see, okay, yeah, so, Dazu says, wow! And Undernar says, basically, the entire game is built off of what I find interesting, liminal spaces, old CGI, dreamcore / weirdcore, etc. I am loving the sound of this game. It would be a first-person puzzle game using the gravity shifting as the main mechanic. That would be amazing. Yeah, 100%. Get this thing made. Back, still an ad. LGR is where I learned about it, too. I learned about it and forgot about it, apparently. Hey, I've heard that that's how Apple started / satire. I can see it. I can see it. Out of ads. Welcome back. Welcome back. But yeah, I was just saying, definitely get making that game. Right now. Right now. No waiting, no stopping. Just right now. Make the game. Make it happen. Make it happen. Okay. Well. See, that's a good looking layout right there. Then I refresh it. No, it's still decent. Still decent. I still don't even know Godot. Oh, come on. What are you doing here? Get out there. Learn Godot. Make it happen. I believe in you. I believe in you. Okay. I know normally at this point we would have an hour left. I don't know if my brain is going to be able to handle the next part, which is redoing how the random tomb generation works with the mini boss, with the floor guardian. Because like I said before, basically the way that I'm wanting to make this work is I want there to be, come over here, we've got set player spawn, set exit spawn, set mini boss spawn, set orb pedestal spawn. So we essentially need to get rid of the exit spawn. The exit spawn is going to be in the same room as the mini boss, as the floor guardian. So essentially what we need to do is we need to have the orb pedestal that spawns, and we also need to have the mini boss that spawns somewhere. And then you can only open the door to the mini boss if you get the orb. Open the door, and then you do the whole puzzle thing, get in there. So you have to fight the mini boss, the floor guardian, because I figure, what's the point of naming them a floor guardian if they're not, you know, guarding the floor? So I'm like, okay, you definitely have to fight the floor guardian to be able to get to the next floor. And then basically the idea is, when you defeat the floor guardian, I know I had worked this out before in my head. How was it going to be? Yeah, I'm trying to decide if when you defeat the floor guardian, if you get a new perk card, or if you defeat the floor guardian and then you can just get through to the exit portal and then leave, and then you get to pick your perk. Kind of thinking I might go that direction. Yeah. So anyway, so we need to change how the spawning of the mini boss works, because you need to actually go into the room. Yeah. And I don't think that my brain is going to be able to handle, so I'm going to have to do a couple checks for things. Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah, usually dealing with random generation does kind of make, it just tires your brain faster than normal, which is not great. So anyway, I think we're probably going to end it here. Again, I know it's earlier than normal, but I don't think I'm going to be very entertaining for the rest. If I kept going, I don't think I'd be very entertaining for the rest of the evening. So I think we're going to end it here, and we will pick this up back on Tuesday, and we're going to get the mini boss finally spawning correctly, finally working, all of that good stuff, and then we'll be able to then, you know, get everything going well. It's going to be a good time. So, let's see here. My PC can't run Godot. How? Isn't Godot pretty lightweight? Unless your PC is just really old. You could play games instead. I mean, it's true. That's true. Go dot and learn. Go dot and learn it. Exactly. Go dot and learn it. Was your PC made in 1947? That's a great question. See, if it was made in 1947, I could understand that. I could see why it wouldn't run it. I'm on Linux, and while I can find a Linux version of Godot, my PC decides to not launch it. And yeah, my PC is old, like 2008. Cool. That's not that old. That's not that bad. That's not bad. Bye, Mr. Mooning. I appreciate that. Thank you. Dang big ripperoni. So true. Woo, all good. Get rested. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, definitely gonna need some rest. It's gonna be an interesting week this week. Should be a good time though. Should be a good time. Bye, Moon Man. Bye, Mooning Man. That seems unlikely. Godot is a very light engine. True. Seems like the flavors issue. Who knows? Who knows? All right, everybody. Well, I hope everyone has an absolutely fantastic rest of their evenings. Thank you all for being here, for hanging out. I do appreciate that. Thank you again for the raid. Both Sumrandev and Ink, if you are still here, I do appreciate the raid. And yeah, I think we are also going to go off. We're going to do our own raid. So if anyone has any suggestions on who we should go raid, let me know, and we will go raid them. We going to raid out? Absolutely. We're going to go raid out. And yeah, next time we're going to get through the rest of the mini boss, and then we will continue on the skills after that. and we're gonna make some good old progress. Should be a grand old time. Get rated. You just looked so rateable. JB Retro, yeah, I am down. I am down for JB Retro. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, have an absolutely fantastic rest of your night, everybody. We will see you all on the Tuesday stream. Yeah, till then, take care, good luck, and we'll see you then. Goodbye.